Kids can't put it down.
It has lots of graphics.
And who can blame them?
It's extremely fun.
The thing's a blast.
Oh, dude, awesome.
The dog doesn't seem to care, but what makes Nintendo DS different from other handheld game devices...
It's got dual screens, so hence the name Nintendo DS Dual Screen.
That's right, 2 screens. You can play Game Boy and Nintendo DS games on it. And what's even more, friends like Marissa and Melanie can play against each other, even if they're in different cars.
We were several car lengths apart, and sure enough, they were playing the game together.
That's because the Nintendo DS units seek out other DS units to play with. No wonder gaming gurus predict...
Nintendo DS is going to redefine portable handheld gaming the way iPod is redefining music.
Well, stop the music. Because it's also redefining how vulnerable your kids are to child molesters.
To bring you our feature presentation.
Wow! What a production! I thought that was something different. Welcome to podcast 36, which I can't think of anything special. We don't need themes, but what was the one we missed last week?
We apparently missed 35. You're old enough to run for president.
Yes, the podcast was old enough to run for president.
The week we inaugurated a new president.
The week we inaugurated. Oh my god! So, since there's nothing special about 36, I am declaring...
It's 2/3 of the number of the beast. 6 times 6.
Wait a minute. It is. Hold on. Let me check my calculator.
That is correct.
Yeah, Michael Raparez. Attaboy.
Your calculator's a speaking spell.
But I have deemed it... I'll say it after we introduce ourselves. My name's Chris Antista. That is...
I'm Michael Raparez, PlayStation editor.
Yes!
That was his correction. Like his.
Oh, my bad. Well,
That's the Wiki Parez sound effect.
We'll have more of that. And we also have returning this week, for the second week in a row, a record for...
Charlie Barrett, a 12-year-old Filipino boat boy.
He said you were very eloquent, though, so you gotta appreciate
well, yeah, I mean, that's... Eloquent boat boy is not bad.
Yeah. And we also have, of course, who has his own theme music this week. Yes. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the one, the only, Red Elson. Yes.
I hate the Roseanne.
How could you hate this theme song? It's your theme song now.
I forgot we brought this up like 2 weeks ago.
We did. We brought this up. That you hate Roseanne.
Oh, Roseanne.
He hates Roseanne. That's the Roseanne opening. But the only thing I could think is this is the special TV week of TalkRadar. TVTR.
Which was only told to us now.
Yes. Yes. It's a big surprise that I have a lot of television themed crap we're going to be talking about later in the segment. So yeah, and then we have that, and we have a contest and some more surprises. So yes, stay tuned.
Speaking of surprises, we have a special guest in the studio today.
Ooh. Wait, really? Wait,
hey
really?
yo!
Oh wow!
Oh, all right.
Hi. All right, that's going to cause a problem.
Hey. Well, why did you invite Tyler?
I didn't invite Tyler.
Y'all might remember me from podcast 1 through...
Okay, wait a second. I'm not sure if there's any... Wait, this is really how you guys want to start off the fucking TV episode with this guy? I don't know.
It's been long
There's
enough.
still a lot of bad blood between him and I, and I'm not sure if he's the best person to be on this podcast. I prepared pretty heavily through a fucking...
Dude, it's cool. Like,
look, it's not really up to you to say whether it's cool or not, because I was the one who was inconvenienced, bothered...
I've been listening to this podcast like every week, and I hear the shit you're saying,
okay.
And like it's cool and all, but it's kind of like amateurish.
No,
and I'm trying to help you out by coming on.
No, fuck that, man.
I'm gonna make it a little better. I'm gonna get it.
Oh, come on, cut
the break.
And so, the climactic battle between Tyler and Chris raged on for hours and hours. Punches were thrown, equipment was destroyed, feelings were hurt, and it seemed like Brett Elston would never stop crying. But as the dust began to settle, the two warriors emerged from the rubble, as if under the spell of a shared realization. Perhaps recognizing the futility of combat, it occurred to both parties that they had not always been sworn enemies, but at one time, true friends. Excessive pride and a lack of understanding had plunged the men into a pointless feud, and even worse, an unlistenable podcast bit. They embraced. We joined the reconciliation, already in progress.
Made me feel like less of a person. Am I right or wrong, Charlie?
What I was trying to do was just, I was just trying to make things, better, but then it just ruined everything.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I just, there's no reason to keep this up. Right?
We were going to try to do that for like 30 seconds. We
I know.
10.
Not even 30 seconds. The Tyler Wilde feud, considered ended and fake and blown out of proportion. And Tyler Wilde, if in case you didn't know, was in our first couple of podcasts, and he had to disappear to what? What were you doing? Going back to school?
Well, I was in school. I had a lot of shit to do, and I was taking my fiance to school on the particular day that.
You mean like taking to school literally, or taking to school like in a game? Like,
yeah, I was beating her.
Around that bitch.
I was beating her at Halo 3 every Wednesday night. No, actually, I was I was driving her to school, so there was she didn't have any transportation other than me, so I couldn't be on. And actually, speaking of my fiance, Chris Antista is the best man at my wedding.
That's how fake the feud was, and I can't tell you how bad I feel about it, because people were actually asking about Tyler and I fighting.
I got it. That's another thing. Those of you listening, you are now in our confidence. Do not go into the comments section and immediately spoil this. It will not be cool. We will be pissed at you. Let people find out for themselves.
Tried to make a stupid production out of it, and I'm sorry. Basically, it was Tyler was on the first couple podcasts. Couldn't be, so I just kept making fun of him because I knew all I could do was listen. Then people started asking me "What's up with you and Tyler?" And I'm like, I don't know. There was that one guy's like, "Okay, dude, seriously, tell me what's up with you and Tyler." I'm like, I cannot. It is private. He's like, "Come on, man, just one." This is on AIM. It was Fred fan. He's like, "Come on, just give me one word." And I'm like, okay. Incest. Shut down! And I slammed the AIM on him.
No, he came back at me later, and he he had saved that conversation. And he pasted it to me, so I don't know how many people I had to lie to, but
I do apologize. It's too fakey like morning radio, but it just kind of escalated, and we couldn't end it because Tyler didn't finally get his new place and finish school until just like a week or two ago.
Yeah. By the way, I'm a college graduate now, so.
Tyler Wilde feud, dead and buried. Now we move on to our top 7, which is written by...
Me?
There you go.
Carlos
Barata.
Is that how they say
Filipino
it?
I will say though. What's the limitation where somebody can say, "Man, I loved the fake feud."
Yeah,
Saturday afternoon.
Saturday afternoon.
What about people that are listening from podcast 1? They're working their way up, and it's going to ruin the ending for them.
They're not.
Nobody's doing that, Charlie.
I know somebody that's doing that.
Yeah, so do I. So,
wow.
You know what? Just it's a story. We're telling a story of Games Radar.
It's a larger narrative.
And you,
top 7.
And you listeners are all key players.
You have all been part of a happening.
You're right. Okay. Top 7. What do we tease it as? Starts.
It's the top 7 best beginnings.
Best beginnings.
And I think a lot of people might read this and think that, oh, that cutscene was really good. That cutscene had a lot of CGI. I remember that one cutscene in Final Fantasy 7 or Onimusha. This is more like the beginnings, the first segments of games.
Yeah.
The opening. It's kind of like the hook that draws you in.
Ideally, like the first level.
Yeah.
It was kind of the ballpark area.
But a lot of these end up not being so much first level.
Did you exclude tutorials because they're dumb?
Yes.
Because I noticed the ones in here have some kind of impact on what the story is going to be like. No.
Yeah, but most of these are tried.
Push X to move.
Well, one of these is a tutorial. The first one's actually a tutorial, number 7, but it's just handled in a really, really immersive and seamless way, so you don't realize you're in a tutorial.
What intro is that, Charlie?
That's Fallout 3.
Fallout 3. Haven't played it yet. Shit.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Actually, neither have I.
I have beat it 2 times. But by beat it, I mean beat the main quest, and that's not really the point of
By beat it, you mean jerk off.
Yeah. By beat it, I mean choke
game.
the chicken, I mean...
Oh, I beat that like 12 years ago, 15 years ago?
I mean master of my domain, I mean a lot of things.
Hold on a second. Chris?
He's getting a beer. Chris Antista.
Hey, we're supposed to be so secretive about it. Chris just went to get a beer and took his headset off. Anyway, so the intro to Fallout, I watched Charlie play the beginning of it. You get to, I don't know, like you choose your allegiance or you take a take a test.
I mean, the really cool thing is that you're actually born in the game. You know, you don't just, here's a which character model do you want to play? I mean, that happens, but you're born first. Your father is looking at you in the operating room, and it's Liam Neeson's very his gravitas voice, and then he.
So I have a very specific set of skills that make life hell for babies like you.
We've all seen that commercial.
We have.
They kind of had to make up some stuff in that intro that's kind of silly, a little bit contrived, like when you're born. Oh, there's like this genetic sampling thing that shows what you're going to look like in the future, and you can adjust your genetics. Like, that was pretty contrived as a character.
That's racist.
I don't know. That's a pretty clever idea.
But it was clever.
It's a way to disguise you need to make a character, you need to do this, and at least it's tied somehow to, like, Mass Effect is just start a game.
Yeah.
Choose your race, Earthling.
So that's basically what they disguised the character creation process and integrated it into the story.
Apparently the Earthlings became 20s gangsters all of a sudden.
Ladies and...
Earthling. Go to the moon, see?
All right.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was the Fallout entry.
You have musical cues for every single one of these?
No. I just pulled that one out of my anus. What's number 6, Chaley?
Which game level did your anus look like?
Yeah, that's what I asked.
Oh yeah, we do have that video up. Go check that out. Game levels that look like anuses.
Number 6 is Chrono Trigger, a game that presently I think Charlie and I have beaten again, and then Chris and Michael I think are still trudging through it.
I'm officially halfway through, according to somebody. But I had to play Moon. I just got Gears of War 2 really late.
Well, what did you think of the beginning of Chrono Trigger, Chris?
I thought it was great. Like I really wish I had bad things to say about it, because I love making fun of things everybody likes, and I'm really pissed I never played it. It seemed to do everything games today do well. Everything games do today well was done in Chrono Trigger on a modest scale, and I was great story.
I remember when the day it came out, like that came out in August of '95. I started high school that same week. Like, to me, that opening is synonymous with starting high school. So it's
going for the fair.
It's very it's stupidly powerful. Like, to the point where that developer who was slaving over it in some dank, clammy Japanese dungeon was not ever thinking it was ever going to mean this much to anyone. But that whole opening, I associate with starting high school, which for most people is a huge deal. Within the first month of high school, a lot of your perceptions should change, I think. I don't know, and I associate
good point.
And I associate it all with the opening of Chrono Trigger, and it's like Charlie wrote. It's a very personal beginning. It's not, even though you're the protagonist.
Explain a little.
Even though the protagonist never talks, like you just wake up, you're Chrono. Everyone's buzzing about the big fair. It's the year 1000, and keep in mind this is in '95.
Your best friend is there, but you can't see her yet.
Yeah, and it's just you exploring this fair. And so far, there's no hint that a larger agenda is happening. There's no hint that this is an epic tale about to unfold. It's just cool party, this huge fair that we've been waiting. If you live in a small town, it's the equivalent of like the big fair that comes once a year.
It kind of hints at the little things it does, because there's actually they're not just people to talk to, like, oh, I wish I had lunch. It was just there's actual activities. There's a race to gamble on.
Yeah, there's things to do, and the music, as anyone will attest, soundtrack is one of the best of all time.
Chrono Trigger has special meaning to me because it's probably the intro I've played the most times without having played the game. Because for the past 10 years, people have been telling me, "You've got to play Chrono Trigger. You've got to play Chrono Trigger," and I've played the intro. I don't know how many times, and then gotten distracted and not finished it.
Yeah,
I know the intro by heart.
That's a new button. I'm sorry. New computer.
Wow.
Yeah, I like it. It's weird. When it came out on DS, I really expected it to not hold up as much as I thought it would, and it completely did.
What do you think? Does the streamlined DS? Is it less turn-based if you play the DS mode?
I played a classic mode. I didn't mess with.
You play classic mode?
I didn't.
Oh, you played classic as in. Wait. Oh, you played just.
I used the button. I used the buttons. I didn't use the touchscreen at all. I had no interest in that whatsoever.
Yeah, the touchscreen is well designed in the game.
The thing is, even if you're playing DS mode with all the info on the bottom screen, it doesn't really make any difference.
Yeah, I didn't think it did.
Like you can play with the buttons regardless.
And if you're hearing this podcast on a Friday, at least until Friday and Saturday, Best Buy is selling Chrono Trigger for $10 cheaper than you'll probably find it the next year or two on DS. So $29.99 at Best Buy. I picked up that in Final Fantasy IV.
Wow,
very cheap. Anyway, moving on to the 5th entry,
Medal of
Games Radar. Yeah, Medal of Honor Frontline. This is the one that got the most comments. People saying, "Oh, as soon as I saw that headline, this is the one I thought of," and there it was on the second page. Except for one guy who was like, "Medal of Honor Frontline? Don't you mean Medal of Honor Allied Assault?"
Allied Assault. That's
which one I mentioned in the text.
That's what I thought you meant when you.
It wasn't an intro in Allied Assault.
Yeah, well then, for one thing, I mentioned in there how this level was taken from the middle of Allied Assault.
The intro in question is the D-Day Assault, most commonly known opening of Private Ryan. Sadly enough, that's what most people are going to know it as.
Well, was Steven Spielberg still involved in the games at that point? He's probably still got some stake in Medal of Honor.
He's involved with Medal of Honor Allied Assault on PC, which this level was just lifted directly out of the middle of that game and put at the beginning because people knew that it had that kind of power.
And shrunk down a bit, but still, it worked better as an opening level than as a. Well, you've gone through a couple missions, one of which is like behind the lines at Normandy Beach, and now you're going to storm Normandy Beach from the other side for no goddamn reason.
Yeah, Frontline it came out, I think it was early, it was like May 2002 or something like that. It was the new generation, like PS2, GameCube, Xbox was, like I said, was new. So the power hadn't really been fully addressed yet, and this was the first time, I don't know, they took a scene directly from a movie and kind of made it happen. And even though when you play it now, it looks really dated, and it is not as busy as your mind thinks it is.
And they've redone this exact same thing many times over.
It's in Call of Duty World at War.
Yeah.
So it's but it's Japin now.
Yeah.
But enough. Well, go ahead. I think Tyler has drank half a bottle of Southern Comfort. I believe whatever he has to say. Go for it.
I've had a lot to drink.
No,
that wasn't the
Allied
question,
Assault,
Tyler.
Allied Assault. Still, I understand why it has a special place in so many people's hearts because I got worse grades after that came out because that was the first this is a serious World War II shooter. This is really cool because before Medal of Honor, because Call of Duty I believe came after Medal of Honor.
Yes,
there were not. I mean, there was like Wolfenstein, which is like zombie Nazis, which is cool.
Well, there were even Medal of Honor games before Allied Assault though.
Yeah, Allied Assault
like
the third.
It's like the third one because it started on PS1.
Yep.
Yeah.
But that was the first, it seems like the first one that tried to recreate specific battles.
Yeah, and the multiplayer experience, at least my PC, I definitely got C's and D's in classes because I was playing that all night because I loved it so much.
It was the first game I think that ran decently on my PC. The first-person shooter, an FFPS.
Yeah, it ran well.
Mine was Doom. I'm sorry.
All right. Well, let's move on.
Number 4 is actually specially requested by Brett. This is Contra 3.
Contra 3.
The Alien Wars.
Sorry, I should have given you this.
Yes. If anybody's gone to the top 7 and read it already and seen the screens, those are all Brett playing very well.
Yes, I was playing extremely well.
Hosting quite often.
You'll see the lower left-hand screen. I'm totally cheesing it up for the camera in that picture.
I cannot see that.
You have an arc of fireballs.
Oh yeah, I did that all the time too.
Yeah, your legs are spread very far apart, so disturbing.
Yeah, that's
You're
me.
holding down both L and R buttons, if I remember right.
Your first sentence of when this top 7 was said, okay, we're going to do this. Which, real quick, this was a forum idea, was it not?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I keep hearing, but when we can actually find the place that people were talking about it.
Yeah, like we still have a very large list of top 7 ideas, but it was just something where like somebody suggested it in the forums, and we're like, we can do that really quick. Let's do that.
Yeah. They didn't take my suggestion, which was Double Dragon, which I used to watch
and jerk off to. We got it.
But Double Dragon, you suggested that because there was an upskirt shot. Was there any other reason?
It is my favorite opening of any game ever.
It is pretty good.
I would watch it.
Pretty much say everything it needs to say.
Exactly. So a girl gets punched in the stomach. In hindsight, hilarious. And then you get to see a little bit of butter rum.
And well, maybe if you like that, it's already been written about in the top 7. The top 7 angles you don't. Oh no, it wasn't. What was it?
You don't want to save.
Yeah, you don't want to save, and you can go and see every single frame of that upskirt shot.
I'll post it in the forums. Chick with the mall chick here, but Contra 3. Keep going. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, Charlie's first sentence describes it pretty well. It's like, holy crap, what doesn't happen? The first stage of Contra 3, because the game came out in '92, at which point the Super NES was still not even a year old. It had just come out. The big games at the time were like F-Zero, Super Mario World, ActRaiser, Super R-Type, Final Fantasy II, but all great games, but nothing had really like just let's take every trick this system has and just put it all everywhere. And Contra 3 laid it all out in the first level. Like you're in a tank, the whole city's set on fire, the boss is the size of the screen, the Mode 7 scaling effects that was the hype at the time of like things can like scale and rotate and fly at the screen at weird angles. They couldn't do that before. All kinds of layers and furthermore, I'm not done.
Hold on, I didn't remember Mode 7. I didn't remember it catching my eye back in the day outside of previews, but I noticed that's on certain boxes.
Yeah.
Like it has Mode 7 capabilities. Dude, was that advertised with Contra?
I don't know if it was advertised with Contra.
So back then, did kids even really know what Mode 7 was? Or just like,
I
whoa,
was 11 when this came out, and I knew exactly what Mode 7 was.
I knew I was supposed to be excited about it, but I didn't really know what it was.
Finding old box art when it says it on the front of a Super Nintendo box. Like, I don't remember that.
I don't know about the front, but definitely the back.
Mode 7, just so you know, is what some like pseudo 3D effect that SNES.
It's like there were several modes that they declared. Mode 1, Mode 2 was this. Mode 7 just happened to be this thing. That was their blast processing, only it actually existed. Example, Pilot Wings for Super Nintendo, almost entirely, that's Mode 7.
Which Final Fantasy is it where you have Mode 7 airship?
That's 6/3 at the time.
3.
But yeah, Contra 3 not only, like, as good as the first two games, like Contra and Super C for the arcade and NES, the music, which I love, Contra is some of the best music, but Contra 3 is, it said, you know what, let's not use, like, very melodic, catchy, kind of beeping theme song that'll get stuck in people's head. It's very atmospheric, cinematic. It just really sets the tone, and it was just the first. That game is so cinematic for what is just a shooter. You just run right and kill everything that moves. But then every boss has a specific, like, unique way it introduces itself. That game, I don't think will ever be outdated. It will always be good. And
I just bought the Contra 4, and it was one of my favorite games I bought last year.
Contra 4 was one of my favorite games of 07. So good. Not as good as Contra 3, though. Next!
All right. So I do believe... I can't remember. I think you died once from playing this. I
may have died. It's a very difficult game. Die in one hit, please. Yeah, that's the problem. All right. Number 3, Michael, I think this is all you.
Is it? Metal Gear Solid 2? Yeah, it's... this was the one that deceived gamers everywhere. Because it was the intro to the game...
God, that's right. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the intro of the game was put out as a demo with Zone of the Enders. Everybody fucking played it over and over and over and over. And then it came out, and it got everyone primed for the game, and everyone's playing, and it's like, yeah, I get to go through the tanker, the whole thing. It doesn't have to cut off at a certain point.
What could possibly be happening afterwards?
Exactly. Yeah. How can they top this? How can it be more awesome? And then...
Maybe by an effeminate albino kid.
Yeah, maybe.
Doing cartwheels.
You got a great picture of him there from that bit where he loses all his clothes and never takes his hands off his crotch.
Yeah, it's really worth reading the top 7 multiple times just to enjoy that write-in picture.
Mm-hmm.
Different times of the day when you're in different moods.
I'm looking at it right now.
I think that should be like our new horizontal line page break.
I think you're right.
I am mesmerized by his...
That image should become Games Radar's new mascot.
That's right.
Naked
or Drunk Tyler.
Yeah, I want to hear Drunk Tyler describe that picture as lovingly as possible.
Well, I'm seeing an upside down, split crotch cover, man boob, pale skinned.
Where are you seeing the boobs?
Whatever, Tyler. That is
correct.
That is wonderfully correct. Tyler, you did
wonderfully and politically correct.
Wonderfully and politically perfect.
Tyler's special.
Well, what do we got for the next one, Chance?
Number 2, actually, for some reason, was the one that most people disagreed with. I don't know why. I thought.
Which one?
Is BioShock.
Really?
I mean, I wasn't even counting the part where you go in
When you proposed this idea, I'm like, well, obviously he already has BioShock.
Yeah, it was pretty damn memorable.
When I downloaded the demo, and I had not only people who don't play games, but people who are ardently against games, and the people who play them mesmerized by BioShock, screaming with every, oh my god, like stuff like that. Like I'd never seen
any of your roommates that didn't know what a 360 was when it was.
Yeah, it was just, I had like
or not roommates, but your friends that were over.
No, they were roommates, and I lived in practically a stupid hippie commune because this is San Francisco.
Yeah, but it was even me. I didn't get to play it right away. My fiance decided she wanted to play it, so I'm watching her start the intro, and I'm like, "Oh shit, the water's on fire! What's gonna? Oh no, the glass is breaking! Ah!"
It's just one of those. Every time I've seen a new person play this game, when you land in the water and you're surrounded by the fire and the plane wreckage, they sit there for like 5 minutes before they realize, oh wait, this isn't a cutscene anymore. I can move around. And they just stare and wait. And you're like, oh, hit that analog stick. And they're like, oh.
I saw you playing it again for the to get pictures of this. I'm like, this is still really pretty.
It is, and also, I mean, nothing terrifying happens except for the plane crash. But there's no monsters for a long time. But I've seen people sit there and literally not want to go forward because they're so afraid of what might happen next. Because it's been so just calm, and creepy. You're going to that lighthouse. Nothing's happened yet. They just don't want to go through that door. They don't want to go into that elevator.
But the Beyond the Sea music you're hearing, and
that doesn't set them at ease at all.
Yeah, seriously.
Bobby Darin.
Bobby Darin music done by a Frenchman. I can't think of anything more eerie.
I just love the whole elevator sequence of going down, being introduced to the world.
I am Andrew Ryan.
Doesn't work. Not so much.
No, said the man in Washington. No, said the...
Hey, you sound just like Quark from Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
I don't know who that is. This is my only Star Trek button. Let me find it on my new thing. Please don't ruin it. You know what? Let's forget about it. I don't find it. The intro, was that the only time we heard the characters speak or internal dialogue?
I think you hear the same line again at the end.
They were right.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden it has a totally different meaning. Which is also why I included this opening, because once you've gotten to that big twist, that opening suddenly just seems completely different.
I've actually forgotten. I remember what the twist is, but I'm having trouble remembering what exactly the beginning really was.
Really? The beginning or the twist?
He's on the plane. The plane is filled with cigarette smoke. There's nothing that makes me happier than that.
He's looking at a picture of his family, and he says something about, my family's always said I'd be special. You know what?
I was destined for great things.
That's right.
You know what? They were right. Boom, that's it. And that's the only thing he says. I think the entire game. I could be wrong.
I think he grunts a lot, but I think that might be the only words.
Well, I mean, what were some of the comments? Why were people disagreeing?
They didn't actually say. There's like, I agree with all these except for BioShock.
Yes, the most critically acclaimed game of that year.
Yeah. I hate BioShock because it was on the 360 first.
Hate on BioShock all you want. It just makes you look stupid.
It does.
You can't possibly hate on the next entry, or I'll slap you.
That man has a mustache. I hate this game.
No, wait, who?
I want somebody to hate on this next game so that Tyler will slap them, because I think that'd be great.
I was still talking about BioShock.
Number one.
Is it number one? Hold on.
Click.
Number one.
So number one is, I think a lot of people should see this coming. I think it was the most obvious choice, Half-Life.
Yeah.
Original Half-Life. A lot of people like the opening of Half-Life 2. It's
I think it's a better opening, but I mean, like, no one had really done anything like the original Half-Life. Like, made you part of it, like a pretty mundane credit sequence that introduced everything.
It was mundane because all you're doing is going to work, but at the same time, it didn't seem mundane because, whoa, I'm already playing. I'm just looking around.
You're being introduced to this entire world. Like, I don't know. I have nothing but praise for that opening level. Good job, good sir.
Yeah, like Tyler was talking about earlier with Chrono Trigger. I've played this opening I played through Half-Life 3 times. I played this opening like a dozen times, just showing it to friends back in, I think it was freshman year of college when this came out. And they said, "Oh, you gotta come see this." And they're like, "What?" We're just walking around a lab, and then, "Oh my god, look what just happened."
I hate that BioShock did it too, but like every 4 or 5 years I have an idiot friend watching me play. Dude, this looks just like a movie. Yeah, it does.
The same friend.
I'm glad it wasn't lost on you.
This is indistinguishable from real life for me.
Yeah, it's like they pointed a camera at a computer.
I have no sense of fantasy versus reality.
Are you telling me if I grab a crowbar, the aliens are gonna come?
Yes, you grow a goatee and grab a crowbar.
And the aliens will come.
I've still never played Half-Life.
Oh. Attaboy, Brett.
I said that Medal of Honor Allied Assault bad grades, but Half-Life and Quake 2 were the reason that I failed a couple classes.
So is this just going to turn into a series of anecdotes about how each game made you fail class?
Yeah, you're up to 3, so it may as well just be gaming as a whole.
No, there were only 2. There were only 2 games. There was Medal of Honor Allied Assault and Half-Life 2. I guess 3, yeah, and Quake 2. Okay, I had a rough year. 5.
And that's the top 7.
Top 7.
Okay, I guess also this week we had a really huge feature that everybody contributed to, almost everybody in this room, except for Tyler. Because I have a feud with Tyler now, so I don't invite him to work on any of my features.
Charlie, man, why'd you have to say that?
God!
Dude! Let's all have feuds with Tyler. I just decided I'm feuding with you, Tyler.
Right, well, that's
greatest
cool.
games on every console. Did we try and do anything
well,
different?
Not the greatest, it was greatest game, though we did end up choosing runner-ups. It was just going through and picking one game to represent each console for the last 30 years. There's 40 consoles, 40 platforms, and some of them are PC and old computer systems, and just picking out the one game that represents best that console, which is the greatest, maybe not just the best quality, because that's hard to choose. I think as soon as we went into that meeting room, we realized we're not going to be able to agree on a best, but we could agree on a greatest.
No, I knew from our meetings, when we're actually asked to, it's our job to sit down right now and talk extremely passionately and push what we want to win. I knew that meeting was going to take forever and be totally unproductive. And not only that, but like the meeting ended up with people who their entry isn't number one. They're mad. They were mad for days.
Oh, I feel like there was a mutiny.
They're still mad. Our friends, colleagues are mad about this feature, and as will users be.
I know Shane is pretending to be sick today just so he cannot be here with the future posts because he doesn't want to help tribute or And
I think one of the reasons we chose runners-up for every category is because of this nagging fear that if we don't somehow mention these games, like, our users will think that we forgot they exist. They'll always weigh in and say, "Oh, you forgot this." No, we didn't. We just didn't like it as well.
We did not forget it. There were like 16 people in a room discussing their favorite games for every system we were all alive for. Like, no one forgot anything. I'm just glad, like, our boss, Eric Bratcher, was kind of there just to be like, all right, I'm just going to have to... I'm just going to have to decide here.
Between him and Dan Amrich, they both sat down and like, well, actually, Yar's Revenge is better than Pitfall.
Oh, yeah.
Shit like that. Like, I didn't even...
Really, I can't make that distinction at all.
Thank you.
Having played both of them, they're both
But reading...
I always thought that game was Pitfall or a screensaver.
reading Eric's entry on Pitfall, though, like, opened my eyes to... Because I remember playing Pitfall as a kid, but I was literally 3 years old. When I got my 2600, I was 3. It was just a hand-me-down from my sister. It's like, oh, I'm done with this. Here, you can have it. Games are dead anyway. What's it matter? They were in 83.
I moved on. I had an Atari 2600. Now I have a Walkman. Here.
Well, she's also 7 years older, so she was like, I'm going to go to high school now. See you, loser.
Love that she called you a 3-year-old loser.
Yeah.
Shit your pants kick.
Gonna go have a nap, nerd.
Yeah.
But
wait a minute. I think I have a clip of 3-year-old Brett Elston. All right.
That was an awful lot like regular me.
I can't believe it took 45 minutes to do that.
But reading Eric's entry about, for example, Atari 2600, we decided the best game was Pitfall. And I would have probably never made that distinction. Only because I'd be like, well, I don't know, River Raid was pretty fun. Like, I can't be passionate about that, but then reading his entry about it, like, Actually, this is one of the first games from Activision. They exploded onto the scene. They were miles ahead of what Atari was doing, and it was just really weird.
Yeah, Eric and Dan...
Hearing that, like, oh wow, Activision was once an innovator and once I have no memory of that at all.
It's because even when you see them now, they all have a very similar cover template, so it's just a different game with 3 different colors.
This last page of the feature is almost an entirely Eric Ratcher specialty. Him writing very passionately about games and systems you've probably never heard of, like the Magnavox Odyssey Squared.
It's good. Seriously, if people are reading this, it was not meant to provoke anybody, but to try and...
Yeah, it was. It's not meant as... Like, granted, we kind of thought, oh, that's going to get people angry and talking, but that's not the reason. It was just kind of like, can we do this? Can we narrow the system down to this game?
And it's hard. And what I wanted to do was to make it like exclusive to GR, just to make people mad, but like Cobra Triangle, #1 NES game of all time. That's what I wanted it to be. No mustachioed plumber.
Well, sorry, Mario 3 is the best NES game.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. What was the best PlayStation 1 game?
Oh, that was a controversial one. That's the reason Shane's not here right now.
Yeah, and this is the reason we need to stress it's not best, it's greatest.
Yes.
Greatest. Sure. I do not have the dictionary next to me.
Because sounds good.
Yeah, because everyone's a Final Fantasy VII fan.
That's true, though. Like, it's very cliche now. Like, anything about 7 is cliche. Liking it, hating it,
I think it might be for us because we have to live the fanboys every day. Like, other people, they have to go find a Final Fantasy fan site. If we mention it, we get yelled at. Right, wrong, bad, good.
Either way. Which, it's still a great game. I mean, but it aged poorly in my opinion, but it was excellent at the time, and arguably it changed everything. Everything. That system defined, or that game defined that system.
I will say that this is the hardest one to find somebody to write, even harder than the Lynx and the Game Gear and the 3DO. Nobody wanted to write about Final Fantasy.
I did my best.
You did a good job.
All right.
You even managed to fit a cock joke in there.
Oh man, yeah.
I didn't throw that for later.
Oh, okay. Yeah, read on, kids. Greatest console. The PS1, so Final Fantasy took it. What was the runner-up?
Metal Gear Solid, right?
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
What did you want?
That's the thing. I was pushing for Metal Gear Solid too. But, yeah, everybody's like, oh, Final Fantasy's much more significant. Hey, you have to write it, Michael. So,
it's fine to quote me, but you have to talk like me.
No, and I'm doing an accurate impression of your voice if it did not sound exactly like my voice.
Wait, I'm Brad Elston. This is my voice.
People apparently can't tell Michael and I apart anyway. So.
Yeah, that's pretty good. People can't tell Charlie or I apart. Hi, Charlie.
By the way, Brad.
Hi, Tyler.
Hi, guys. I'm still here in this room drinking beer. Anyway, speaking of people getting upset about this huge meeting you had,
I think Tyler is elongating the podcast, and
you can go ahead and cut everything I say out because I've had half a bottle.
I want to say we did have heated arguments about every single console. Even Neo Geo Pocket. I got into a fight with Henry because he said Card Fighters Clash. I said Match of the Millennium, SNK versus Capcom.
Well, yeah, I
ended up winning, and he had to write it.
How did you settle that through seniority?
I think Eric weighed in and said, no, I think...
Well, I remember backing you up, and I said Match of the Millennium, absolutely. Yeah. Was there anything else? I mean, I remember PS2 was extremely difficult, especially the runner-up, because we gave it the runner-up. The number 1 was San Andreas, and number 2
It's hardest because it's still not dead.
Yeah, that's
we have to write about it like it's in the past, but
it's dead enough.
But I mean, its greatest games have come and gone. I think.
Yeah,
I mean, like
it's not in its heyday.
Number 2 was Okami.
That was
which is very strange for a system that came out in 2000 to have its second greatest game be in 06.
I disagreed with that profoundly because I think the 4 or 5 people who played Okami to the end just kind of hijacked that boat.
Yeah,
I'm like, no, it's the greatest. It's the second greatest at least.
I thought it was fantastic. I really enjoyed it, but it's very hard for a system that vast of that much high caliber shit to give it to Okami. I don't know.
What would you put there, Michael?
Same thing with Super Nintendo. Incredible.
Metal Gear Solid 3.
There's so much Metal Gear Solid on this list.
Really? But that's because it deserves to be there.
That's Metal Gear Solid 3 Snakebite?
Snake Beater. I
think it's Snake Fight.
Snake Fight. All right, I don't care. I was really just trying to segue into this because I thought for PlayStation, given its backwards compatibility, it should have been MTV's Music Generator.
Oh. I actually love that.
Which I only segued because your friend sent me some old music that you made.
I have a friend.
Michael, your friend Michael sent me some old MTV Michael Raparez jams.
God.
That Michael Raparez made. What year do you think this was?
This would have been 98, 99.
I was wondering how you'd take this. This is a surprise because I really wish they were more terrible. They're clearly of a time and a PlayStation. They're just not bad. You want to hear a little bit of it? It'll take us into break.
Fine,
ladies and gentlemen.
Well, real quick though, real quick. The MTV Music Generator thing is totally dead. So, just anyone who didn't know, this was a series of games, the PS1 and into the PS2 era. Mm-hmm. You just laid down tracks and made your own predetermined.
Actually, I can tell a story about this. That when it came out, I got all excited about it, and me and my friend Paul back in college, we're gonna start our own 2-man rap group, and it's like we can get this and we can use it to lay down tracks, and no, that didn't work. But I composed a couple techno things that got played a couple times at nerd dances at my college.
Really?
Yeah. What are nerd dances?
We had how far should I go?
You'd think they were secretive.
We had a yearly gaming convention, which I was involved in the planning, and there were a couple of dances, and I managed to convince one of the DJs to play it, and I think it cleared the floor. Nobody was willing to dance to.
Do you remember what song it was?
God, I forget this. I remember it. I forget the title.
Think hard.
No.
What if I have it? What if it's the one?
I'm sure it's the one. There was only really one that I distributed.
All right,
my friends.
We can talk about this for a second, but ladies and gentlemen, Michael Raparez's Tunberry.
Oh, that was it.
See? Yeah.
I feel like dancing already.
I feel like I drank a glow stick.
It sounds like Wipeout music.
Wasn't. Now,
what was that?
Is that a sample that's on the generator?
It is.
Baby, I love you. It's my favorite way to start any song.
Oh yeah.
All right, when we get back from break, we're gonna talk about a bunch of TV shit, tiny bit of news, got some community stuff, and a brand new contest, including winning singular, remember, games, Blu-rays, and shirts.
Maybe I'll sober up.
I hope not.
I'm 14 years old and I love to play those damn video games.
I'm going to GamesRadar.com.
For more on the Grand Theft Auto controversy, we go to Daily Show senior PlayStationologist Samantha B. Samantha. Sam.
Sorry, John, sorry. Thought I saw some money and some life power behind a dumpster. Turns out it was just a body. Anyways, I'm here in San Andreas where people feel their way of life is being attacked by the morality police in Washington. There are good people here. Well, a good person. Actually, I think he may have been in that car that just exploded. But residents here want Washington to know they're angry and they vote, or would, if not for considerable felony convictions.
But, Sam, so what are the people of San Andreas going to do about this?
Well, the city council is planning to lodge an official protest with Washington, though whether that will take the form of spraying Capitol Hill with machine gun fire or just a good old-fashioned Molotov cocktailing remains to be seen.
Sam, you... You would agree, though, that Grand Theft Auto San Andreas isn't really appropriate for young children.
No, on the contrary, John. Our kids could learn a lot from this little town. It's a place where, with a little hard work, a little hand-eye coordination, and the right cheat codes, anyone can work their way up from a burned-out moped to owning a tank.
Sam, what about the concern that young children might copy the violence that they see in this game?
Oh, come on, John. Nobody believes there's really a connection. This issue has been resolved in studies. Politicians are just beating a dead hooker here.
Sam, what about the rating system for video games? Do you think that the current standards could be... Sam, is everything okay over there?
Oh,
is it?
It's just another hump day, John. People blowing off a little steam. Anyway, the important thing is that parents groups, legislators, and video game manufacturers say, hey, mother... Get your mother-f***ing hands off my mother-f***ing... What? It's okay. I'll blow them up later.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Samantha. Samantha B. We'll be right back.
Blasting out of the 21st century comes Mega Man, a super warrior robot combating the evil robots of the notorious Dr. Wily. Suit up with Mega Man each week as he joins forces with Brush, his faithful Robo-Dog, and Roll, his robotic sister, as they battle Dr. Wily's Superbot villains, Proto-Man, Gutsman, Cut-Man, and all his other evil creations. Don't miss Mega Man, the superhero of the 21st century.
Sunday at 11:30 a.m. on KTZZ TV.
Hey, does anybody want to listen to the rest of this motherfucking podcast? Yeah!
Hey, paisanos, it's the Super Mario Brothers Super Show!
With the Mario Brothers and plumbing's our game. We're not like the others who get all the fame. If your sink is in trouble, you can call us on the double. We're faster than the others, you'll be hooked on the brothers. Hooked on the brothers. Yo, you're in for a treat, so hang on to your seat. Get ready for adventure and remarkable feats. You'll meet Koopas and Troopers, the princess and the others. Hanging with the plumbers, you'll be hooked on the brothers to the bridge.
Segment 2, in your face. This may be a long one. Holy shit. Sorry, Charlie. Literally and figuratively.
Gotta get home before his feet turn into pumpkins and his house.
Yeah.
And his car's registration reverts back to the year 1994.
We're entering into this with the Super Mario Brothers TV show theme song, because it's supposed to be the TV theme week, but I do want to get some new releases out of the way.
Which the Mario Super Show, it at the time was. You have to understand how insanely big Nintendo was in the 80s, that when they said there's a cartoon, it was like I wanted to die, because what's the point? The rest of life is meaningless. They already made a Mario cartoon. What else do I have to look forward to?
You would think, looking at it, that it's a viral video. That it came out yesterday, because it's the stupidest thing anybody could have done with Mario until Club Mario.
Oh my god.
Hyped up, rollerblade equipped version of Mario, which...
If you want to know why you don't miss the early 90s, watch Club Mario.
Club Mario, but it's just to get into the new releases real quick. MLB Front Manager Office, that is a great title. I'm so glad 2K is using its vague MLB exclusivity well. Rygar, The Battle of Argus, currently running at a 55 on... yeah, apparently.
I'm supposed to review that and I haven't started playing it yet. Really? 55? Yeah, the PS2 version was great though. I wonder what happened.
I think what I read.
Besides the waggle,
skimming over it is that it's not really, may not have been as great as we all thought it was. Because I remember
the original has like an 83 on Metacritic.
I beat the original. It was the
good. Legendary Warrior, or whatever the hell it was called.
I'm not sure whether. Really, I mean,
Legendary Adventure.
Every day, PS2 ports get older and older and older.
No, yeah, it doesn't hold up to today, I'm sure, but at the time, I went through it in 2005, and it came out the year before. It was
certain outlets that have had enough, and it's usually one up. And
somehow still posting reviews despite having folded so long ago.
Biggest review of the week: Afro Samurai. Right?
Who was it that saw the ad for Afro Samurai on a Church's Chicken? And sent that
everybody? Oh, Henry. Henry, the most racist person in our office.
And that's really saying something.
God damn it! What I want to do in this here podcast is get into all this I don't know, fun, stupid, repellent, anger-inducing TV, video game stuff I have planned. But hopefully we'll get into some more game-specific stuff at the end of the segment. But just to get some news out of the way, I remember last week we were talking about like I was kind of like Sega doesn't get it enough to make a 16-bit Sonic XBLA PSN game. And I thought maybe I was wrong because they announced this bizarre game called Pole's Big Adventure for WiiWare.
That sounds like a gigantic euphemism.
Pole's Big... Well, it's all one big in-joke on old school games.
Is it really?
Yeah, and including references to shit you may remember and all that stuff. But the weird thing is well, here's a piece of the music. Go. Sega. Oh, look at that! Sega. Old school.
Really good. The thing is, that sounds like NES music, not Genesis.
I was going to say that because they're making a reference to NES music, even though they had a system at the time that didn't look or sound anything like the NES.
Yeah, no, you can definitely tell. You can definitely tell Master System music from Nintendo music.
It's so weird. I mean, but it shows you their business sense because there's no point in appealing to the Master System crowd.
That large Master System crowd.
But it's supposed to be a WiiWare game with a bunch of like timely.
How do you spell this thing? What?
Just like it sounds. Where
P-O-L-E?
P-O-L-E.
Not P-O-H-L or P-O-A-L?
Yes. No.
Pole's Big Adventure. What's it called?
Pole's Big Adventure, which itself could be a joke. I don't know. The site's all in Japanese.
Wow. I can't wait to see
But
that.
anyway.
Also this week, we've bagged on Home quite a bit in this podcast that it's functionally useless and designed by Sony's marketing team and not by anyone who's played a game before.
Yes.
Hence the fact that you have to download every area before you move to it. But anyway.
And our UK pals put up a really funny article, like eight silly ways to amuse yourself at home. I thought it was really funny.
It's a while ago, wasn't it?
It was like 2 weeks ago, but apparently this week there are hoodies in Home.
Yay! I bet they cost money.
Oh boy.
Did you know, according to Kaz Hirai, that over 17 million unique accounts have been started and $1 million worth of virtual goods has been sold? Who is buying this stuff? Who is so stupid as to go, I do want to pay $6 for that Santa suit.
Just it's only 50 cents.
I could see the accounts being started because of course everybody's going to want to try it. It's free. It downloads automatically to your PS3.
Yeah, that's true.
But I mean, I can't imagine who would actually go on and buy Red Bull caps or whatever.
I'm wearing a real hoodie right now. I'm watching. Okay, you can't see this, listeners, but pretend
here he goes.
You can't. I'm putting a hood on. Whoa! I just put my hood on.
No!
Right now.
Dude, I recognize you from Home.
That's right.
It's almost like you could talk to us while wearing that hoodie.
I know. It's almost like I could.
Like you could hang out with your friends online while wearing a hoodie in real life.
Right, but there's no microtransactions involved. I already.
That's
bought
true.
It.
Dude, you want to meet up later
and to buy something?
All right. The other piece of news is Edge Online posted the 60 biggest selling games of the last 12 months, and it's just full of all kinds of heartbreak.
Yeah.
Like the idea that, High School Musical pretty much sold the same amount as Dead Space.
I love that Zac Efron. That guy's hot.
Sonic Unleashed also sold, more than Dead Space or Ninja Gaiden 2.
Jesus, did it really?
Yeah. Not by much, to be fair, but it...
You know what really freaked me out is I'm editing a special for OXM, and so I had to look at their Dead Space review. They didn't give it a very good review.
It's
not good.
It's a 6.5. Yeah.
It's a lot of complaining about collecting items, and the stuff that I loved about Dead Space. I really liked looking for ammo.
That was a very controversial review.
Yeah.
It was. Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games outsold Rock Band 2. You would think that
it isn't fair because it had a January head start until September.
That's true, but it's really shitty.
Anyway, it's still depressing.
Yeah. It is nice to see that MGS4 sold 2.5 million copies. That's good. That's reassuring to me.
Yeah, hear that, PS3 fanboys? We like NBA.
Yeah. It outsold Wii Music. That's excellent news.
Excellent.
Actually, it did it.
Yeah,
It did. Okay. Yeah, it
Wii Music
did.
was like number 33, and Metal Gear is 18.
Yeah. I am, however, ashamed at the world for letting Mario Kart Wii sell 11 million copies.
Ew.
Look, if you hadn't played it early like we had, you wouldn't have known it's the exact same Mario Kart with awful vehicles.
Yeah. Force Unleashed apparently pushed 5 million across its various platforms.
Good. I hope that convinces LucasArts to stay in the business of making games.
Yeah, which is more than Gears 2. Strangely enough.
What's more depressing, number 4, Wii Fit, or number 3, Guitar Hero - Various?
That's cheating.
That's cheating because they're combining On Tour, World Tour, Aerosmith,
and etc.
Under that criteria, it could be counting Guitar Hero Encore Rocks the 80s. And
Yeah.
No.
If any copies sold this year, it's under that umbrella.
I think they are.
Is even counting all of that, Mario Kart still sold more. And the number one obviously was GTA 4.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. I love the GTA 4.
Actual games.
Okay.
Oh, actually, since you brought up Edge Online, Brett, isn't there something else they posted last week?
No.
Oh, we can just mention it, can't we?
Plug it.
All right. Well, since Brett mentioned Edge Online, they have a better feature, much better than that one we just talked about.
Really?
I think it's only one less page. But this is
Well,
only
it's
about.
less depressing at any rate.
That's true. It's actually very uplifting. It's the making of ... the Gabriel Knight trilogy.
Oh, man.
So strange that this was posted on Edge last week.
And I'll have you know, it's 5 pages. They had to use 5 pages for this, and it was written by the entire Edge staff. Because I've imagined that they were arguing about who got to write it, because everybody probably there loves it, because those guys have better taste than people working at Games Radar.
Charlie and the staff of Edge have Gabriel Knight orgies all the time.
Yes.
They rip each other's hearts out.
Where they all erotically devour an ancient PC game. Charlie, tell me what your favorite part was about the article.
I haven't read it yet.
What do you hope they discuss in the
He's
article?
saving it to just go over slowly with a bottle of wine.
Yeah.
A bottle of wine, a box of Kleenex, a bottle of lotion.
Boy.
If you had to write the well, never mind. That was funnier. All
right, moving along.
I was just gonna hit
time
it
to get
for a second.
moving? Can I get a time to get moving?
Here we go.
Time to get moving.
Whoa, that was so damn fast.
Tyler's been away for a while. I wanted to get started with the TV episode because I wanted to start that we're here right now and we were considering either moving the date we recorded or canceling the entire podcast because Lost is on.
Oh, God, I forgot.
We record.
But that's why God invented VCRs. I mean, come on.
Yes.
VCRs? What the?
DVRs,
My dad
kids.
used the VCR.
God invented the VCR, then he sold it off at a pawn shop.
I think my great-grandpa made fun of me for using a VCR.
I guarantee if anything ends up at getting the Christians to protest us, it's blaming the VCR on God. Lost. I think I'm done.
I can't be done. Despite the fact that it really is dragging, and it's immensely captivating, though. Like, I can't stop watching it.
If by dragging, it's been one episode, so you mean it's been dragging since last season?
It was 2 episodes, and I know Michael hasn't seen it, and I don't want to spoil for our audience either, so Michael is our audience. They got rid of the flashbacks, so things are happening, I guess, semi-concurrently with what's going on the
You fucker, you spoiled it!
There's no more useless flashbacks, only so the person who appears in the flashback can appear in the last 5 minutes on the island. Good. I'm really sick of the Lost mechanic.
Yeah, I kind of have to agree with that.
Dead father appears on the island. It didn't give us any more character background.
So, are you happy now that the flashbacks are gone? I can't tell what you're saying.
Absolutely.
So you like Lost?
So how are you done with Lost when it just improved something?
Because Lost has been anger-inducing since the beginning. I found this article.
So you've never liked Lost?
No, I did. The first. I think that we were discussing.
The first season is fantastic.
Like, I can't wait to see how this community develops. I can't wait to see what happens. And what they did is propose a bunch of questions, and instead of answering them, they add new cast members and problems so that the viewers forget about.
You're not willing to give it the benefit of the doubt. Now there's only 2 seasons left. I think they're gonna have to answer some questions.
Absolutely not. There was an article that appeared on Dig last week.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Attaboy, Tyler.
Take the hoodie.
I watched.
If you put your hood down, you'd understand.
Oh, it is blocking your
I
brain.
watched 2 episodes, and there were some dudes getting on a helicopter, and someone moved the island with fucking magic, and it was stupid.
Well, if you haven't seen up to that point,
Actually, it wasn't magic. He rotated a giant wheel.
Oh, I'm rotating a fucking wheel. I'm gonna move an island. I'm a dipshit. This
Give it to him,
movie
T-Bone.
sucks.
Give it to him.
J.J. Abrams is a piece of shit. And you know what? Cloverfield wasn't that good. Shut the fuck up.
I
did not go there.
I agree with that one.
And guess what? Star Trek is gonna be shit. You shouldn't be making a Star Trek movie. Whoever gave you that license is a dipshit. And all the cast are like 5-year-olds.
Tyler, you need to leave the room.
Wow. No.
Cloverfield was probably my favorite movie of 2008.
Cloverfield was very, very, very good. But I will be dropping tiny video game related factoids while we talk about Lost, the TV show, very briefly. But there was an article on Unreality Magazine, the magazine most likely to buy us in the next year.
First or after?
No, they just do the same kind of features we do, but they do it in one sentence with a lot of screenshots on one page, so the dig users love it.
They love that?
That's ironically what dig users hate us for, even though we don't do it.
Yes. Every time we do it, I know I said do. It doesn't get done. Thank you, Tyler.
All I'm saying is depression. We're in it.
I like that.
It's the thing we're in, and
all right, Tyler.
All
Jesus Christ.
All right. Tyler, we have to get moving into an unvideo game related feature anyway.
Wait, are we still talking about TV at all?
We're still talking about Lost.
Tyler is over there laughing at his own non-joke.
And Unreality Magazine had an article about the top 10 WTF-isms in Lost, and I'm only
the whole series or just this last episode?
The whole series. And in number 10, it even starts out with. Remember the statue with the toes? I do. I was hoping there'd be some resolution there in 2-3 years. There hasn't been.
Even at the moment that happened, it felt like it was just a throwaway, creepy thing that was probably not going to get explained.
It felt like it was a complete rip-off, including shot for shot of Lord of the Rings as they traveled through the river, trying to invoke that same kind of mythology, which it can't, because Lost is not capable of that.
The thing is that the very premise of this article is like, remember this thing about Lost? Yes, the show's still on the air. No, I just don't like the idea of remember this question raised by Lost. Yes, it was 16 months ago. I do remember.
Okay, I'm skipping ahead. Straight to number 8, the hatch. We were all riveted by what Lost had going on. Oh my god, a button every 108 minutes that somebody had to press. Why? Yeah. Apparently because they didn't press the button underneath that button to extinguish the need to ever press that button again.
Yeah. The thing is, I don't like.
Dude, seriously, think about that from the first bit to the second. At the very end, they thought of some reason to tie it in to why the plane crashed, and then they got rid of it.
I would love it if they.
There's no better definition of a Deus Ex Machina because it's.
No, what I'm trying to say is I don't like if they don't wrap everything up. I won't care. I like the characters and the way it's directed and just the style of it and the storytelling. Well, the storytelling kind of ties to the mysteries.
Because personally, I already hate watching network commercial television because it's designed to heighten your emotions from commercial break to commercial break.
Well,
and when you watch it on DVD, it's like, okay, I should be sad here for a second to see it resolved in 1 second.
Yeah, like the oh no, okay.
Oh no, and the music swells, which keeping it with video games. By the way, did you know Lost composer Michael Giacchino also composed Medal of Honor Airborne, Fracture, Turning Point, Full Liberty, and Black, in addition to Ratatouille and the new Star Trek movie soundtrack.
I knew all of that.
Okay. Anyway, back to a TV show.
One thing I do want to say in Lost's defense, despite the fact it is a compulsively watchable show, I can't stop watching it. I was at ABC when it started. The whole summer before it started, we were watching these promo reels like, hey, this is the show we're going to have on in the fall. And just watching it, I'm like, this show's going to be huge. It looks amazing. And the pilot is really cool.
It's great.
Yeah, and the whole first season is just, it sucks you in so fast. And then since then, the second season completely derails, in my opinion. But anyway.
They had great characters on the first season, and they got tight. They didn't know how to write for them. Resolved their inner demons and killed them.
Yeah,
because they couldn't figure out what to do with.
Yeah, no, they killed off characters when their story was complete. Unlike every other show, which keeps them going. Yeah, Shannon and Boone are dead because they had nothing else to do with them.
My thing was though.
But why should? Okay,
I think there's just a problem. Like same thing with criticizers of Firefly. Same problem here that we get with Lost. Although Lost not so much because it is in its 5th season at this point. But everyone now, with the advent of DVD and the advent of entire seasons in a box set where you can watch the whole season as completely full and uncut, everyone micro-analyzes every season now. That never used to happen. Like now we're 6 episodes into this season. This so sucks. I'm not watching it anymore. No one used to do that.
A lot of shows didn't have a continuity that went episode to episode.
No,
there may have been some overlying story elements, but overall there was.
Did you watch all of 30-something?
No.
Did anybody?
Tyler has something to say.
What's cooler than talking about Lost is talking about shows that I watch.
All right.
Like Dexter.
Is your drink?
I drink to forget, man.
All right. But
don't forget to drink.
Can we at least agree that Lost is better than Heroes?
I'm just saying.
Heroes is a piece of shit this season.
The second season built all the way up to the hatch. Where's the hatch now?
I'll also say there's no city.
It came back the first episode.
The thing is, they're resolving.
Why I got into Lost.
That's a storyline resolved.
They're on an island. There's fucking monsters. Fantastic.
Monsters.
I'm in. I'm hooked.
Yeah.
Monsters gone. Went away. Oh, there's
entirely. They still resurface when they need to be there as a plot point.
You know what they are now? It's a
MacGuffin.
A MacGuffin-esque cloud of blackness that does anything it wants as long as the story allows it.
Its power. Its power is Superman's power in that it does whatever the story requires.
Whatever it needs. And remember that we thought the monster was that thing that came underground and grabbed John Locke by the leg? Yeah. That went away too.
Smoke thing is not important. The monster, the real monster.
So did the dirty feet shot on digital video dragging the teddy bear on a rope.
Exactly.
Went away too.
But they were dressing up.
Season 2, the zombies.
Why?
Yeah, you know what?
To scare them.
Say it again.
Why would they scare them?
Say it again. Say it again as your excuse why this works as a plot. What were they doing? Why this is justified? The others being zombies, like hyper-powered, super-powered zombies.
Yeah, whatever happened to people getting sick?
What is the excuse Lost gave?
Well, the thing for them dragging the teddy bear and their dirty feet, and just because they were trying to scare them.
No, what did they say? They're pretending.
No, they were
really. That's why I lost. That's what was happening in 12 episodes of this show when people are being. You go down to.
No, that was just that one scene.
Excuse me, I'm going down to Ethan Rom here, who was one of the others.
Yeah, who
seemed to have superhuman strength.
Yeah.
Kidnapped a child and mother while hanging a grown man.
Okay.
Ethan Rom completely disappeared. And later in the 4th season, what about Ethan? Oh, that guy went nuts. What?
Actually, they killed Ethan in a very dramatic episode where Charlie shot him.
Others who turned out to be hyper-intellectual scientists.
Yeah, all of a sudden.
Said what was up with Ethan, and they said, oh, he went nuts and rogue.
I don't remember that part.
Horseshit.
Can we all just?
That's why he was able to tear a man apart with his bare hands.
Seriously,
that's number 4 on the list. Number 5, polar bears.
Well, they explained the polar bear.
They explained where they came from, but in the beginning, this is what look. G4 plays Old Lost, and if you watch an Old Lost, you get even more mad. The polar bears came about whenever Walt was around, reading about polar bears. Mm-hmm. There's a flashback episode of Walt conjuring an animal he's reading about.
A bird.
Granted, Walt disappeared.
Yeah. But see, there's a word for that, Chris. Actually, 2 words. Red herring.
It's not the show's fault that Walt grew up and got a weird voice and started acting all puberty-like, and they had to get rid of him.
Is this not all the clear signs of writers who have no idea what the fuck they're doing?
It does kind of. It does kind of have that thing.
Yes, but that's a separate question from is it entertaining, which it is.
It is sometimes entertaining, but it's so much of a lie. I can't tell you how much I hated that episode.
The thing is, don't forget that I'm in season 9 of the X-Files. I just don't want anyone. I didn't want anyone to forget that.
Next.
That's good. You reminded
no,
us.
But I did have a point from that.
Can I talk about Gabriel Knight again?
No, X-Files. X-Files is kind of the blueprint for shows like this. That it ran for 9 seasons, 7 successful seasons.
Wait, before you go on, let me try and tie. Hold on, I have to try.
thing.
Look, we're talking about TV. I have to try and tie this back into video games. Did you know that the guy who voices Jack in Lost by Adamus for the Xbox 360 and PS3 is also the voice of Wolverine in several video games? Continue, Brett.
That's a great story. I don't remember what I was talking about.
It was probably about X-Files. Moving on.
What's about X-Files? The fact.
Moving on, you want to talk about making shit up and writers not knowing what they're doing. Watch the current season of Hero.
X-Files in its like first 6 seasons raised several questions, didn't answer hardly any of them, but did not constantly add cast members, which seems to be Lost's chronic problem.
Every season, Lost adds cast members and kills them before the end of the season, thereby getting nowhere.
And what did X-Files have?
I do agree with that.
Yeah, and every season, Heroes send someone back in time.
Oh, Heroes is fucked. We ain't talking about no Heroes.
Well, that's the problem of Heroes, is everyone can go through time and stop everything.
The other problem of Heroes is that there's no shitty Xbox game that I can play through for 1,000 achievements.
I know!
And speaking of shitty Xbox games, Michael, you're the only person who played Lost via Damas.
Yes.
Yeah,
And I got all the stupid achievements, and it was not entirely horrible.
Mike, are you an achievement whore?
No, I'm a moderate achievement.
Becoming.
I'm becoming one. I'm not going to play Avatar.
For all account, from whatever I've heard about Lost via demand, it is like practically a 6-hour game.
Yeah.
So getting all the achievements is kind of
like 8 hours.
Prolonging your own experience.
You have to take photos of a bunch of shit and find things during your own flashbacks to get all the achievements.
And I have some...
I'm not ashamed to admit I sat there with a guide and just went through to make sure I hit everything I was supposed to hit, because god damn it, I am not going through this game twice.
Did Lost via Damas give you any insight into what's going on in the show?
A little bit. How much do you want me to spoil?
Spoil it all, because I guarantee anybody who hasn't played it now will never play it.
All right. It's interesting because apparently the show's creators said, "Oh, this isn't canon. We're dismissing." The thing is, it does reveal that like the shark at the end of was it the beginning of season 2, I think, that if you freeze frame on it, there's like a Dharma logo on its tail.
Yes.
You meet that shark. And you like raise it out of a tank, and it turns out it's a robot, and you have to harvest circuitry from its body.
And just before you can continue, but that's another thing that pisses me off about Lost. They think hiding things in episodes counts as depth, like putting a Dharma logo on a shark and putting Hurley in the background, like, oh, he's on the news in another scene. Let's dissect this and have the internet talk about it. And you remember they did it with Cloverfield.
But they know their audience very well. They know that we will do shit.
It's just kind of annoying knowing that ultimately none of it will matter.
None of it is going to matter. It's not going to be an interesting story, and it makes me mad that I'm so invested that I have to get through it. Go ahead, Michael. I'm sorry.
Anyway, but certain key events happen completely differently for like as they do in the show. But then the game kind of redeems itself by saying, "Oh, look, it doesn't have to be canon because." All this time distortion shit that you won't see until just now, we knew about it, we include it in the game, and basically at the end the whole thing resets, and you wake up on the beach during the crash, and everything you've just done no longer exists.
Lost haters, please just hold on. Michael told me to point this out, that the voice actors in the game, I thought they had the cooperation of everybody.
Oh, no.
We're going to play Guess the Character on Lost. with the voice actors in Via Damas. Domus.
It means the way home.
You know what? It turns out it doesn't. It means the way to the house.
Fine.
That's where you kind of translate not literally and say the way home, not the way house.
The biggest criticism I read while doing minor research is that the title doesn't make sense.
It does because it's a compass. It's the inscription on a compass that leads you where you're supposed to go in the game. And then
they made that up. Okay, you know what? Wikiparas has spoken.
They made up. No, I win.
Wikiparas wins.
If you had, what was the thing I gave him last time? Michael Raparez.
Wikiparas justification.
No, that was not. That was a Wikiparas justification. This is a Wikiparas correction.
God, way to make me sound like an asshole.
Okay, well, it's going to happen a lot to me. I'm a mushmouth moron about this time in the podcast. I want you to guess who these people are in Lost Viral Dominance.
Via Dumbass.
Stop!
I was able to decrypt your laptop. And do you know what I found? I found that you have very good reasons to forget.
I think your amnesia's a lie. I think everything you've said is a lie.
Was that the same person?
I know.
Those were two people.
Sounds like Saeed
Quiet,
and
Michael.
Jack.
Yeah, be quiet.
Saeed.
Go ahead.
Did that really sound to you like Saeed and Jack?
I could tell it was someone approximating Saeed.
I got the Saeed part, but the Jack I thought was just a...
That sounded like the way Matthew Fox talks.
It is.
And that he sort of half yells everything.
Yeah.
It is, and Michael made sure to. There's a particularly moronic mission where Jack. It takes place in the pilot episode where Jack demands that this unforeseen character, fix the turbine engine or a gas leak.
Okay, are you setting this up, or do I need to explain it?
No, go ahead.
Yeah, it's just that Jack's rescuing people out of the wreckage, and he's like, "There's a fuel leak in back of the plane. Go repair it."
I can see this from this person's chest.
Yeah,
and you, the person with no knowledge.
Since we're both aeronautical engineers and can recognize and remedy this situation.
I'm a doctor of planes.
Well, also, the plane has crashed. Do we really need to worry about the fuel? To keep it, what?
Well, I think the thing is the fuel's leaking. It's gonna explode!
So please, go stand next to it.
Yeah, exactly.
The fuel tank is ruptured. I need you to stop the leak before the whole thing explodes. You understand? Now go!
Wow, that's really bad.
That's our Jack. That's our Jack. Okay. Lost Sawyer.
Ooh, I want to
And it
Sawyer.
really was the worst voice acting.
Yeah.
Dead laptop's about as useful as a coffee maker on this island. Get Saeed to fix it.
Sounds like the same guy's doing all these voices, just a slightly different
No,
accent.
seriously, I didn't see that in your article, but the guy who does the voice of Jack in Biodomus. Jesus Christ, did I get that right?
Yeah, you did.
Bio, whatever. I don't care.
It's a dead language.
Yes. The guy who does the voice of Wolverine, not only in the games but in the cartoons. And I was wondering if you recognized him. Does it sound any bit similar? He's in the voice of Wolverine in the last billion Marvel games with Wolverine, and in any cartoon that's featured him, including the new Hulk on Blu-ray. Thank you, Lionsgate.
The same actor through X-Men Evolution and all.
No, not then. I didn't get the exact point to where it was, but it's definitely been in several movies and several video games.
It's not the same as X-Men Wolverine's Revenge or whatever that one is.
Or Mark Hamill and whatever they're talking about. But besides that, for the last 4 years, this guy's done Wolverine's voice.
All right, fair enough.
All right, good.
What am I listening for?
Who is this? Who is this actor? Michael? No answer.
Be careful. This whole plane could blow any second. I'm fine. Go help the others.
Well, I'd be John Locke, I guess.
It sounds like the Indian Brave impression I got in trouble for. Oh, board of the plane, I guess.
I'm just gonna go over here and shed a tear over littering.
It would behoove you a great deal to go and make peace with the turbine of that.
Make this great metal bird fly again.
And God, moving on in a the TV episode of this podcast. Hitting random buttons. You know, we intro every podcast with a bizarre video game quote. What would you call it? Not bizarre.
Just a quote.
A silly quote involving video games.
Obscure.
From another medium, and it doesn't really matter what it is. We try and make it not from video games. I've noticed how many
So try to make it kind of clueless, generally.
Clueless. Remember, there's the Prince of Persia video from that show Life that we saw. We have to embed in the forums.
Is that what that show was?
I think it was called Life, and it's a Prince of Persia, and they're clearly hawking Prince of Persia while desecrating the actual game.
It's simultaneously, they don't know what the hell they're talking about, yet they're advertising the game on their show.
It's like, at Prince of Persia, you'll get to jump from balconies and do all this, and at the very end, you win! Billion points.
Yeah,
there's
move
no
on
points.
to the next level. Like
There's
it
no
says in every
points
game.
or win screens in Prince of Persia, but in order for the audience to get it, it has to be seen to be believed. This picked up an audio, and my roommate watches only reality shows, except for what I think is a show only for 70-year-olds, NCIS, the JAG spinoff. This is the episode about a particular kind of murderer.
Nasopharyngeal mucosal secretion.
Snot? In her hair?
So perhaps it's a souvenir left behind by her killer.
Looks like we found the murder weapon. Toy guitar?
That is not a toy guitar. That is a guitar controller. used to play Lords of Rock video game. That particular model is called an axe.
So our killer is an axe murderer.
That particular model is called an axe.
Why does that guy sound like Vince?
Nobody says that ever.
An axe. God damn it!
There's so many dramatic sound effects. Sounds like hello, ba-boom,
ba-boom. It was the opening.
I love the mucosal secretion.
Mucosal secretions and the rolling of the arm. When you're faking an accent, it really helps to roll your arm.
I wanted to bring up the fact that I really like Fringe.
Wow, really?
Moving on.
Yeah. But here, who's watching it ever? No one.
I watched 2 episodes.
You watched 2 episodes, and like I just bitched about, Pass Judgment on the show within 2 episodes.
Because those 2 episodes were boring.
No, they were not. Fringe started last fall, is also from J.J. Abrams, who did Lost, who doing extremely well in ratings, and is doing what I very much admire is limited commercials. There are 6 extra minutes to the show every episode.
Shit.
Yeah. Every commercial break it says Fringe will be back in 60 seconds.
I decided to time 24 while watching it on DVD.
It's
1 episode, 1 hour, 24 episodes, 24 hours. It's 16 and a half hours without commercials. No, seriously, think about that. How many commercials you're enduring?
Well, yeah, that's the thing with Fringe is that it essentially is an updated X-Files, like in a post, Homeland Security, terrorism, mindful world, which X-Files kind of died because of. It was canceled the year that all that shit happened. What?
Go ahead.
He talks like 30 minutes about goddamn Lost. I can't talk for a minute about Fringe?
Just plugging a show you like. I was just trying to segue into a billion other things I have.
Anyway, that show and another show that you will probably find interest in that Fox is promoting together as remote
Dollhouse.
Dollhouse.
That wasn't going to happen anymore.
Oh, you can talk about Dollhouse.
Dollhouse is another Joss Whedon show that he bothered to let Fox premiere on a Friday night at 8 o'clock when the entire audience for that show will be doing shit, and it's also the first episode that they intended to air as the pilot is not airing as the pilot.
It's not airing as it will air. It will air.
It will air when it's canceled.
No. Well, that's what. And everybody's like,
I can't believe it's on DVD.
The guy who made Firefly has been put in the Friday time slot for Fox, which is notoriously considered a death time slot, where good shows go to die.
Which, by the way,
that are catering to genre audience.
By the way, X-Files started on Friday, and after
Fish Police.
But you know what? After it got good ratings, they moved it to a better night.
They did move it, yeah. But the thing is, they bothered to let it try.
And seriously, I know I'm not the coolest guy in the world anymore, and I won't watch shows that come on Friday because I do feel like more of a loser.
Yeah.
If I participate in Friday night activities that aren't ones I make up. But he did say Fox is a little wise. There's life beyond television. Firefly is done fantastic on DVD. It's the first thing Fox ever released on Blu-ray. Probably may have a chance. I recommend checking out Dollhouse because I love Joss Whedon. At some point, I wanted to do an article on TV games based on TV shows. All terrible. Michael, I know you're rubbing your eyes, but I need you here.
No, I'm listening.
The best reviewed TV show game I can think of is Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah, the first one for Xbox was fantastic.
Really good was the Beavis and Butthead adventure game.
Oh, god damn it.
That wasn't good.
I never played it, but it got really good reviews when it came out.
Yeah, because the Genesis one had farts.
No, this is the PC adventure point-and-click adventure game.
Oh, god. You know what? Fine. Charlie, I'm
Just
cutting your
saying.
mic. I'm cutting your mic. But what's worse than TV show? What's worse than TV shows made into games?
Books made into games? I don't know.
Turns out TV shows referencing TV shows referencing games.
Oh well, yeah, like you just did with Axe Murderer.
Axe Murderer. Seriously, it's usually pretty bad, and it's usually supposed to appeal like, oh, this is popular with people, but we need to make the joke fit to a broad sort of audience. And so Henry was reading a book on the history of Nintendo, and he's like, there's this episode of Roseanne, which the author considered emblematic of how popular video game culture was becoming around the time of the SNES.
Yeah.
And I had to check it out. Like, it even makes a distinction. Everything was the Super Pretendo or the gaming station with Super Guy Face and and a bunch of stuff that didn't exist. Roseanne referenced things specifically.
Yeah.
And you said you hated Roseanne. Why did you say you hated Roseanne?
I don't it's just that opening theme song always is like borderline depressing to me.
It is. That I'll agree with.
The show itself, I admit, I watched plenty of. I just if I caught it at the beginning with the theme song, I turned it off immediately. If I caught it in the middle, I would watch it.
I always thought it was a pretty honest depiction of what a majority of Americans and TV watchers are like. Because
it was a much more honest appraisal of life than anything else on at the time.
And relationships, because not everybody has silly quips, but they interact, in my opinion, a little closer.
Because even Married with Children, despite being dysfunctional, was borderline cartoonish in its portrayal of life. Roseanne was like, everybody lost at every episode. Nobody got it.
Have you ever seen the last season of Roseanne?
Yes.
Yeah, it's really
crazy.
We can't just what in the last episode, like Dan's dead, everything's a hallucination.
The entire season,
it's like the whole thing was just a fiction that she wrote.
Yeah,
or something.
Yeah, she was dancing with like an old gentleman, like through the clouds.
It's
tuxedo.
It's because it's her writing all of this fake shit. Because John Goodman ate himself to death at the end of the previous season.
I stood up for Roseanne but now I stand here now trying to do the same thing as this is the Roseanne video game episode. It's referred to as the backstory because Roseanne throws at her back, and that's part of the story. Thank you, Brett. That's the exact response it required. All right, here we go.
Wait, what year is this? So we know what kind of game references to listen for.
About the time the Super Nintendo and Genesis were at their peak, because obviously they're being referenced on a mainstream, one of the highest rated shows on television.
Like 92 would be my guess.
Yeah, I can't really say, but DJ, their young son, really wants a Super Nintendo, and it's his birthday.
Here's my new birthday list. Oh, so let's see. A new bathrobe.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a bath every night from now on.
Oh, yeah? And a new desk lamp. I bet you that's so you can do your homework better, huh?
Uh-huh.
And let's see what else we got down here. A Super Nintendo video game.
Yeah, if that's too many things, cross off the lamp in the row.
I get it.
Kids.
The kid wants a Super Nintendo, but they're fucking poor.
He wants a Super Nintendo video game.
Well, I'm sure he didn't write that down. That's what she interpreted it as.
The mom interpreted it as.
I thought that was very authentic.
I want to see how you interpret the next clip, because this is one of the reasons I like the show is because it was very honest. When I asked my parents, why can't I have a Super Nintendo? Whenever I saw it in other shows, it was like, well, it'll make you miss your homework or turn you into a killer, and we don't want you to be that kid. This is what the parents of Roseanne said.
I told you, DJ, we can't afford a video game now.
But all my friends have them, and they make fun of me because I don't.
Which did happen. It did, hold on.
Yeah, that's not why they make fun of you, DJ.
Dad, will you get me a Super Nintendo?
No.
Does
John Goodman always have his mouth full? What the fuck?
Oh, I just finished eating a huge sandwich. Sorry.
You don't understand.
I just vomited in a Coen Brothers movie.
You can't see, but in that scene, he had to walk through a door.
Was the door open or closed?
He got up and entered the kitchen.
Well, come on, it was a long door.
All right, let me finish this clip.
Well, catch my breath. Maybe your new daddy will buy you one.
I hate it here. I wish I lived somewhere else.
Well, now, honey, you just remember that wish when you're blowing out your birthday candle.
I'm going to Todd's. He has Genesis.
Boom!
Oh,
that's what Henry brought it out. It's distinguished between a Super Nintendo and Genesis, while most shows were making pretend names.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe did Nintendo have a stake in the show? Well, whatever. DJ. It turns out. Here's a little bit more of the plot. They bought it for the kid. They're kidding. They're going to surprise him.
So did you get it for him?
Yeah, it's at the shop. I even got a decent educational game to go with it.
Yeah, did you get the Super Mario Brothers too?
I didn't forget you, dear.
Yes.
Okay, I don't know if you want to construe that as Super Mario 2 or
I gotta
TOO.
As also.
As well. What I want to know, speculate, is what do you think the educational game was?
Pilot Wing?
That is not. I was thinking Mario. Is that on the SNES?
No,
that was on the NES.
Mario's missing. That's when I started to think: is this paid for? Because no, this also has educational stuff. Like, let's
Yeah,
let
there
the
was
root...
no educational game that
Not initially, no.
A mouse pad, maybe.
Yeah, Mario Paint, maybe.
No, not initially. Well, the story turns out Dan tried to. They were hiding it from him. They want to surprise him. It gets ruined. The grandmother picks DJ up from school the day they're going to open DJ's present. Sorry.
They just pulled up.
No, well, where do you want the video game then? Up on top?
No. Put it under the bed.
Okay.
Yeah, see, we're gonna make him open all the other presents first. And then when he starts whining and being real bratty about how he didn't get the video game, then we'll give it to him, and then he'll feel really stupid.
Most parents would just give him the gift.
Guess
Red almost laughed.
What?
Super Nintendo.
Oh, Grandma bought him Super Nintendo while they're hiding under the bed.
Fucking
Bitch.
Grandma!
Calling John Goodman's manhood into question.
That's
Whatever.
strange. That's very strange. That's how I got my Super Nintendo. That exact same, like,
Really?
I came home, my 11th birthday, 91, which is when it came out, it came out September 91, and I came home, and at the same time I wanted to get this really big Marvel Comics book that had, like, the entire encapsulated history, and I came home, and I'm like, what did I get? And my mom's like, I don't know, maybe it's a book. And I'm like, no! And she's like, go look under the bed, and I go look under the bed, and it was a Super Nintendo.
Maybe it's a giant novelty Bible. No, it's a Super Nintendo.
Because one of those things where you ask for two things, and it's like, I do want that book, but I really hope I didn't get that book and not a Super Nintendo. I didn't get the book at all. I got the Super Nintendo.
This is noted in the book as being like, this is when games hit the mainstream.
Yeah.
As in my opinion, that's how we as a society saw them until you get to the other clips. Here's where it's time to get mad.
Oh, good.
Same episode?
Yes. This is Roseanne sitting down at the end of the episode to play the game.
Great.
What music is that?
That's Mario. That's Mario World.
Super Mario World.
Super Mario World. What was that packed in with?
Super
Nintendo.
So I heard that. I'm like, this is going to be the game. Like, this is an ad.
Yeah.
They paid them to put this in.
Great.
How you doing?
2 more swords and I'm queen of the monkey people.
So
all of that goodwill destroyed.
Everything we thought about accuracy in video games. 2 more swords and I killed the monkey wizard.
I don't know. I think she was joking.
And I become queen of the monkey people, not I kill the monkey.
Whatever.
Clearly...
Why are you jumping at me about this? Go right to Roseanne.
Journalism!
Go right to Roseanne. This is not journalism. I just drank whiskey on camera. Okay, you know what? Michael was right.
Tyler almost spit the 7th beer all over his desk.
I thought that clip was a little silly, and okay, it's officially not an ad. They were just trying to be accurate to the day.
No, you just didn't play the secret level where the Monkey King.
Oh, and you haven't heard this clip because the Nintendo I know probably would have sued over this clip. Yeah.
What do?
It's kind of.
You hear that? It's familiar music.
It's the title screen music.
Check this out. It even acknowledges other games of the day.
Like that Sega game Hedgehog, you gotta power up or you're dead.
Like that Sega game, the Hedgehog, power up before you do that. Yes. What's up?
So that doesn't even make sense.
It's how the common folk refer to video games.
Play the clip instead of cutting it up. I'm using
dead.
Shut up.
What happened?
You're dead. The skeleton stabbed you through the heart. That's your blood.
Oh man, DJ's gonna love this. Once he gets it, we'll never see him again.
Oh, let's give it to him now.
One more time.
It's still the Mario music.
God, that's really
the skeleton stabbed you through the heart.
That's
the
your
only
blood.
Skeleton has no arms, and it's a turtle.
I will bet that they wrote all the dialogue before they secured a deal to promote that specific game system to lend an air of authenticity, which they then squander through their pre-written dialogue.
I think Michael figured it out.
Uh-oh, I need a
fucking sound effect.
Hold on.
Thank you.
Raparez settles everything. But I was thinking the episode worked. I watched the whole thing before my computer crashed and I had to reload everything into the shitty computer you see now. There is an episode of a show starring Norm Macdonald, which is Norm. The Norm Show.
I remember Norm.
Do you remember any episode involving video games?
Pokemon? I saw this episode.
You saw this episode.
Yes,
it is extremely authentic.
Yeah.
And extremely unbearable.
They're like dressed up as Pokemon in the episode.
The cast is. Let me. Norm Macdonald plays like a hockey player disbarred from hockey or something like that, and has to work as a social worker by court. Like, you thought that plot in Seinfeld about the court-ordered butler was silly? Like, this was actually happening simultaneously. The Norm Show, social worker meets a kid.
So according to your mom, you've been watching this cartoon called Pokemon, and now all you do is run around the city trying to capture these so-called creatures. That true, Tommy?
I'm not Tommy. I'm Ash.
Slightly accurate, no?
It is worth pointing out, this episode aired in the fall of 99.
And was that at the height of the cartoon?
This is like the peak of Pokemon just going fucking
Pokemania. You can say it.
This is before Gold and Silver, after Red and Blue and Yellow, though.
Okay, and then Norm tries to talk him out of his, what would you call that, multiple personality dementia. And for comedic effect, the kid won't relent. He wants to be crazy.
You can't keep me here.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't. Pikachu! I choose you!
A lot of graphics here.
Right, too. I'm a Pokemon trainer. That's right. Squirtle, I choose you.
This is the Norm Macdonald.
You life-size people in
You've
costumes.
chosen a water Pokemon. He's no match against my electric Pokemon.
Electric? I'll be in my shell. You tell me how it works out, okay?
Pikachu!
I watched that episode at the girl's house I was dating at the time. And
I'm sure you're like up in arms.
Why you're not dating her anymore.
And I ceased to be dating her within a week after that.
The only thing I can imagine of that scenario is the sound of her vagina growing together.
that particular one, yes, was not amused at my nerdiness.
Like the TV just turned on, and but whatever. There's I remember early on when I met you, I made a Squirtle joke, and you looked. I'm like, that's my porn name, and you looked at me like, you thought that was funny, didn't you? Get ready.
Okay.
Pikachu! Attack!
Quit hiding. You're a fighting Pokemon. I trained you to fight.
What training? We sat around, drank coffee, and watched women's tennis.
You said you were going to work out on your own.
Comedy. This is what happened. That is my favorite part of the whole clip.
That's Norm Macdonald.
I like Norm Macdonald, and I'm really going to try and redeem him during the break. And tying this all together, Laurie Metcalf, who played Roseanne's sister, plays a Pokemon. Brett, you're going to need to clarify.
Butterfree, I choose you!
Tweet, tweet.
Butterfree, whirlwind attack!
I don't want to do the whirlwind attack. It's too girly. I want to do something else. I'm going to throw a chair at him.
That was actually kind of funny.
What? No, it wasn't. What is it?
Throw a chair at him? Pokemon throwing chairs at each other? That's sort of.
I guess if you're a fan of wrestling comedy,
it's an amusing juxtaposition.
Yes, from Charlie. Yeah, an amusing juxtaposition.
Yeah, this is from a 2 minute. This is from a 2 minute clip.
If you need me, I'll be in my study reading Gabriel Knight stories.
Yes. Clearly, like, you guys know Norm Macdonald, right?
Yeah,
of course. Personally, yeah.
It seems like he's catering to the Pokemon crowd to get this joke, but he's Norm Macdonald, whose primary jokes are about the inside of dick boners. And this is when it started, like, okay, this may not be for your audience.
Charmander, I choose you! Charmander, charge!
Yeah.
Put on his fire with your water, Squirtle!
Actually, I have a rash, and it hurts when I squirtle.
God.
Okay. Last one, and we'll get all this shit over with.
Jesse.
James.
And meow!
There you are, Ash. Team Rocket is here to steal your Pokemon.
Yeah, well, you can have mine. I'm just going to use this one for soup anyway.
Like, I don't know why you guys aren't cracking up, because apparently the audience couldn't get enough of this at the time.
The audience consisting of one laugh track machine.
I
One
want
laugh
to know
track machine.
if the Jessie actress was hot. I can't remember.
They were all cast members of the show, which I don't remember.
Because
But
that is a costume that could be very hot.
we are going to have to go into to Brock. Tying this all together, I don't even know why he sent this to me, is our own Dan Amrich of OXM, Official Xbox Magazine, and KOXM, the OXM podcast, singing the WKRP in Cincinnati theme.
This is Dan singing it?
It is Dan singing it. So, well, when we get back, I have 2 new contests. If you want Blu-ray, video game, T-shirt?
T-shirt, video game.
T-shirt.
We got question of the week.
Baby,
if you've ever wondered whatever became of me, I'm living on the air in Cincinnati, WKRP. Got kind of tired of packing and unpacking, town to town, up and down the dial. Maybe you and me were never meant to be, but baby, think of me once in a while. I'm at WKRP in Cincinnati. Take a cue from the cube. Hey, it's Cubert. Take a cue, me and you, and Cubert, me and you, and Cubert, me and you, and Cubert. Be my power!
Get ready, Captain N and the Video Game Masters are back.
Who's talking?
What?
Hey! Charlie, put your shit on. Tyler, you're asleep.
What? Huh? Yeah.
No, nothing. We're just podcasting, sweetie.
That's alright. That's cool.
You're wrong.
I'm wrong now? Oh.
You sound ridiculous. I left you a plug into the internet. You're connected and you sound terrible.
What is the rock band song this week?
I don't want to. It's Grateful. We don't use Grateful Dead in this here podcast. We're a progressive podcast. Too progressive to use some hippie motherfucking band.
That writes 30-year songs.
But they're so retro. they're in it.
I stole that from The Onion. Don't laugh.
Man, that joke that you just claimed as your own, Michael.
Yeah, I totally pass it off as my own successfully.
Despite citing it as a joke from somewhere else.
Apparently, we need to cite all our jokes.
You must be out of your fucking mind.
Charlie Barrett cursed. I'm so happy.
It's writing all these top 10 hottest female lists.
I know, we're apparently a site built on boobs that posts about one boob feature every 3 months.
Yeah, so? Want to fight about it?
Because that's all he reads. He only knows how to read about boobs, so he assumes that's all we do.
Yeah, just because that's all you see.
Just because that's all you look at and actively seek out and click on. And then you hate yourself because you were raised a strict Catholic and despise GamesRadar for inspiring these lustful feelings in you.
That's right. No.
It's attracted to disease. There's no shame in it.
No. Tyler, you look fantastic.
No, don't wake him up. We have to take a photo of him sleeping.
Yeah, next time we will.
I'm not sleeping. I'm paying total attention to what you're saying.
Tyler, why didn't they have Marathon, the greatest games on every console?
I don't know, because they don't want to include the Macintosh, because they're douchebags.
Why didn't we want to include Macintosh?
I suggested it.
I'm really angry about that, actually.
It's existed for several hundred years. It may as well be a DirecTV box because it's had the same amount of exclusives.
Well, I think somebody mentioned that we should have it as the pity award. Just have
if anyone's listening who wanted to see a Macintosh category, I mean, as a Mac gamer who hasn't played anything on a Mac since like 2002, my picks would be Marathon 2, Durandal, and Escape Velocity 2. So let's just put it at that.
All right.
Michael made the correct decisions.
I wanted to say
we also left out Game Boy Color, which was a platform that happened.
But it doesn't count. Nobody actually has fun.
There were games designed exclusively for Game Boy Color, not black and white Game Boy.
And all of them involved Shrek.
It all involves Shrek or Club Penguin.
Oh,
They were bad, except Mario Tennis, which was an RPG of tennis games, which was an excellent game.
Whatever, Mario Golf on the Advance. I do not want people to overlook that.
that's crazy, ogre.
Isn't anybody grateful that we did include the ZX Spectrum and the BBC Micro?
Yeah,
course
British
not.
people who we can talk all the shit about we want and we'll never hear anything. Oh yeah.
Do hear shit, it'll be so gentlemanly sounding that we won't care.
Yeah, I'll be like, well, just get your shit and get out the door.
Very poppin'?
Because we're owned by British people. Oh, it's a jolly layoff. All right. All right. But I wanted to say to people who entered into our contest, we're going to announce the DS, the winners of the Nintendo DSs next week.
Oh, the guerrilla advertising?
And we're going to announce the winner of that next week. And I've also mailed out a bunch of Everything Must Go submissions. But we also, who wants to give away some new stuff this week?
I do.
Tyler?
I don't have any shit to give away.
Okay. All right. Well, we do have some stuff to give away. What do we have? First place. A game, Brett?
I actually got an extra copy of Artanelico 2. It's a PS2 RPG. We talked about it last week. It was reviewed very highly by Carolyn. It comes with the soundtrack, comes with an art book. It's a really fun RPG.
It's a free game.
It's a free $50 game. I mean, if you like RPGs at all, I think the battles are cool. The music's good. It's good.
Are you going to give away that T-shirt?
So the second prize is Saw 5 on Blu-ray DVD, courtesy of Lionsgate Entertainment. Saw 5 in theaters for a second, probably during Halloween, like they always do.
I assume that happened.
Shane probably saw it.
Saw 5 really tied up all the loose ends. Saw 3. Saw 5 on Blu-ray. I haven't seen it. I don't mean to pass judgment. Maybe you like it. You can win that third prize Afro Samurai shirt.
A very large T-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
It's very large.
For very large people.
It's pretty much novelty-sized shirt.
It is. If you're a grown man, 300 pounds and 6'4", and need a nightgown, this would be the shirt for you. It woke up Tyler.
No.
Okay, but how do you win this? And the only thing I could think of is I was looking in the mirror and my hair is atrocious. I looked at it and like, what does this look like? I have Perfect Strangers 80s sitcom hair.
Wow, yeah.
So Tyler's back on the podcast. At the end, we're going to do a sitcom pose. And all you have to do is name the sitcom. Again, for authenticity, what channel is it on? Maybe that's relevant. Maybe we're on Animal Planet.
So they're making up a sitcom name?
It'll be a shirt. All you have to do is put a font over a picture. What sitcom is it? Don't let Twishart beat you to this. I'm letting everybody get a fair chance. So yeah. What do we got? We got Artanelico 2, Saw 5, and an Afro Samurai shirt. Everybody get down on it. It'll be in our forums.
Left over from the...
You really can't talk that much right now.
Okay.
Number 4.
Yeah,
you know what?
just don't talk, Brett.
Just don't talk anymore.
All right. So
I'd like to mention-
you're not going to be able to talk until you get on. Like you're going to have to come over to this computer and talk.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. This happened last time, and I unplugged it, and it sounded better.
He sounds fine to me.
You're asleep. Like,
I'd like to really quickly mention that the forums and all the shit we're talking about, they're on GamesRadar.com in case you didn't realize.
GamesRadar.com in case you've been listening to this podcast and didn't realize what website it was affixed to.
It's entirely possible to do so because sometimes I don't even know what website I work for.
It is because we're okay.
I'm just too.
Thank God for you, Tyler. Thank God.
Tyler wanders into GameSpy and Slobs of Gaming every once in a while and starts pitching features, and we all get mad at him. Those were ours. And okay.
Do I sound any better now?
No.
I think you sound delightful.
You want to let him sit at your mic? If you're gonna pass out, then
I'm not passing out. I have to drive home in like half an hour.
You do sound really bad. I'll get off. You know what, Brett?
Yeah.
You come over here. You man the controls, and when I have something to say, which when it comes time to say my piece, I'll grab Tyler's. Keep him on. All right. Well, now we have a community segment to get on with, and Charlie to call with. It's always fun.
So, apparently my computer sounds like shit, so I have to come over to Chris's computer.
Oh, God.
I know, and I'm going to push pretty much every button he has.
Oh no, shit! Brett has control of the sound effects. This is dangerous.
Look at all these buttons, man. How do you forget? How do you stop?
I will never give up. Never.
This is getting stupid.
Well said.
All right. One more.
Can you hear like 3 at the same time? Like all playing simultaneously?
Let me see.
Wow.
All right. Really? All right. Okay. Last week's question of the week, I think was 19. Question of the week was, what's like the biggest gaming lie you've ever told? And very popular. A lot of people had. It's like 6 pages of awful lies. My favorites were Boondock Saint 54 lied to his wife about how many games he was buying and would buy them behind her back. And then she finally found out and exploded at him. No reaction. Good. Chris is just admiring himself in the mirror, which is... He's preparing. All right. The forum user, Penis. Which is spelled like P3NI5, whatever. It's actually very elaborate and very evil. He convinced a friend that Metal Gear Solid 4 was going to be 360 exclusive. That was not coming out for PS3. And then when his friend was like, oh, really? Well, what about this Red Ring thing? Oh, that's fake. That's made up by fanboys to not make you buy 360. His friend then buys a 360 based on his advice. Metal Gear, of course, is exclusive to the other system. He then says, oh, I guess I should come clean. Metal Gear is only for PS3 and the Red Ring is real. Hit the bone wall. All right. And
does this guy's friend not have the internet, or...
Well, he probably was just going off his friend's advice. And then it turns out he bought the 360 off of Craig. Can't hear you. Probably can't hear you. His friend bought this off of Craigslist, so he cannot return it.
But it has a happy ending because he ended up with a 360 instead of a PS3.
I guess so. Which we all apparently love and not hate. And my favorite, though, over the whole thing, well, I guess not, but Clown of Death told everyone who was playing Street Fighter how to do the fireball motion, and it was backwards. And proceeded to kick all of their asses forever. My favorite, though, is a new user named Angel of Eolin, or Iolin. And it kind of harkens specifically what I wanted, which was like childhood things about stuff you could not fact check. There was no one to really know any better, and it's about the Power Glove. He assumed the Power Glove would let him flip Bowser off before punching him in the balls. And of course, that is not what the Power Glove did. He said he went over to a friend's house, and they both got it together, and then realized how awful it was and how basically useless. And they could not admit to anyone back at school that that was the case, so they told him that all weekend long they were strangling Goombas and throwing Koopas off of cliffs. And he just made up this entire lie about how awesome the Power Glove was.
That's awesome. I wanted one.
So did Nintendo. That was last week's question. And then shout-outs to the people who signed up to answer this question. Major Blood, which I assume is a reference to the G.I. Joe character.
I don't know of any other Major Bloods.
Tender.
Hey, pole position.
Perfect.
I know. Hey! There he is. That's Hey Pole Position. Game Kira, Ryan Long Name, Brandon Leet, Ross Casina, Angel of Eolin, Mr. Mitten, NyQuil 336, Imbodalo. I gotta stop. Dangerous 04, Chipumama, Scheidenkamp, and Jack Burton. I don't know. Like 14 new users signed up. Always good to have new people. Question 20, submitted by Phazon117. Remember, message me via the game's radar messaging system, not the forum PM. Takes too long to check that. Message me your questions and I will pick them. This week's question comes from Phazon117. Question 20, posted in the TDAR forums. What is your least favorite game in your favorite series? Michael.
Oh, that's easy. It's that would be Grand Theft Auto on the Game Boy Advance.
Oh.
See? Too easy.
Oh, come on now.
Well, What's my favorite series? What's the shittiest game in that series? It's not complicated.
More than GTA 2 for Game Boy?
I never played that, so I can't say his favorite.
There you go. I guess that's
what? We can't actually hear you. You need to talk into a microphone.
Yes, take Tyler's
Borrow
microphone.
my Mortal Enemies microphone. That was a throwback. Thank you. Now I know how it feels.
Yes, you do.
We have switched places, but damn it. That was the Grand Theft Auto. That was a throwback to the original Grand Theft Auto.
Was that GTA 2 for Game Boy, or
yes, GTA
or you're
1.
talking about Grand Theft Auto Advance?
Advance
yeah,
was
it
like
was a shitty throwback to the original Grand Theft Auto because it zoomed in way too close. You couldn't see where you were going. The controls were shit, and yeah.
You see, Rockstar, Michael hates you.
I hate that one game that they made. Otherwise, I'm totally in their pocket. I mean, come on.
Chris, you're on a microphone now. What about you?
We were talking about the greatest console, the greatest games of every console.
Yes.
And a lot of anger I saw was by Shane and Henry over a little game called Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island.
Very good game.
Worst game in the Mario series. Sorry.
Wow. Wow.
Sorry.
Fuck. You serious?
Well, first of all, it's not a fucking Mario game.
It's a Yoshi game.
It's a Yoshi game.
Yeah.
Seriously, like, try and describe that. The game had existed 20 to 30 years into video gaming, and the best feature you could think of, well, there's this crosshair that pops up and goes back and forth. You gotta stop it and then shoot an egg. Like, it sounds archaic. I don't care if it looked pretty. I don't care if it was big and had a lot of collectibles. It was not a Mario game. It's not a worthy addition to the series. You think so? You're wrong. Hey, look, they put a Super Mario World 2 at the end of it. It should be a Super Mario World 2.
Yeah, that's true.
If it was stricken from the record, I'd put it over with Yoshi's Story, which I love.
Really? Ooh. How do you like Yoshi's Story and not like
I'm not saying I do, but I accept it as a Yoshi offshoot.
Right. Fair enough.
Oh, wow, look at the design. It's Crayola and magenta.
I can't be friends with you anymore. Charlie.
Damn straight.
I guess I'll use this question as an opportunity to plug a feature
God.
I wrote a long time ago that Michael just referenced because it's one of the top 7 franchise embarrassments. Do a Google search. His GTA on Game Boy Advance is on there, and I'm going to pick another one that was on there, which is Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. That game is an asshole. When I was young, I had a problem. I could never get the same game that my friend across the cul-de-sac had because he had a Super Nintendo before I did, and he got Final Fantasy 2 before I did. And so when I got my Super Nintendo, I needed a Final Fantasy game, but I could not get that one because that would be copying. So I got Mystic Quest, thinking that it would be another great adventure, and obviously it was not. But I had to try to convince myself that it was, so I played it many times. And I tricked myself for years. It was only in the last couple of years I realized what a terrible game that is. It's such good music, though. Well, that's one thing it's got going for it.
I just want to say before it gets taken out of context and somebody's saying, oh, look, he admitted I am not actually in Rockstar's pocket. They've never given me money, etc., etc. Let's move on.
Wish that was true, but we're going to have to move on. The tired Tyler.
Tyler.
Wow, you have to put the headset on him like a baby.
I am like a child. As far as what is the question? The worst game?
Your least favorite game in your favorite series. So let's start.
Jesus.
What's your favorite series? Video game.
Shit. You know what I really like is Command and Conquer.
What I really like is cheese.
So say your favorite series is Castlevania. Your least favorite would be Konami World 2.
I actually do have an answer to this, and that's Command and Conquer Renegade. That was like a really shitty first-person shooter. Oh, Brett's got the sound effects. It's nuts. It's crazy in here, everybody. Hey, yo, get on the TalkRadar fun bus.
Jeez.
Oh, we got explosions.
This is the real reason you haven't been on the podcast in ages.
Oh, shit.
All right.
Realize
Chris
that.
was mad at me for ruining his fun.
Yeah.
Huh.
Go
It's
back to
ours.
sleep. They're sharing a mic. All right. So what was Command & Renegade?
You all are faking outrage over me hating Command and Conquer Renegade, and I'm sure you've never played it, any of you.
No.
It is like
I never have.
It was kind of like Team Fortress, only bad. I didn't like it at all, and it was And then later, you know,
Just remember that guy who was like grimacing on the cover of it.
it was basically super exciting for Command and Conquer. Oh my God, they're totally making a Command and Conquer first-person shooter. That's going to be so cool. Because
speaking of which, whatever happened to Command and Conquer Tiberium? Yeah. There was an FPS in production for a while, and then suddenly
I don't know. They probably realized that Renegade was shit and that it didn't work, and
that would probably do it.
Remember they tried to make StarCraft Ghost, I think it was, an FPS based on StarCraft?
It wasn't an FPS, it was a 3PS.
Ah, 3PS.
And it disappeared. It was a stealth action game.
Point is, that didn't work either. You cannot take a strategy game and make it into a shooter. It doesn't work. It's not fun.
Especially not if one of the developers is the same developer who worked on Conan and Marvel Nemesis.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it doesn't help.
Well, they went on to make those piles of junk.
I kid nihilistic. I love those guys, but their games are crap. Anyway.
So it's really fun. I tried really hard to love Renegade. I tried really hard to enjoy it, and I thought, because it was one of the first like FPSs, like, oh, you're gonna have vehicles, and there's gonna be like a base that your team has. It's team-based combat. It's cool, and I just ended up playing Battlefield 1942 for a long time because that was really fun.
That game was awesome.
That game was really fun, and Renegade completely failed at doing a similar thing.
That's a great story. Mine, I guess, is
Shut up, Brett.
I would have said that anyway. Keep running your hands through your hair. It gets better every time.
Hey, guess who's a penis? Brett Elston.
No, that was our reader, Penis. I'm trying to think if I have anything better, but I think it's just Majora's Mask. I can't think of anything more interesting. Like I was trying to think like Castlevania. I really didn't like Harmony of Dissonance, but that doesn't carry like I don't care enough to really not like that one. Yeah,
remind me again which one Harmony of Dissonance was.
Exactly. It was just forgettable. It was the second GBA one.
That one was good.
Of Juiced Belmont.
Would you say that Majora's Mask is a pathetic excuse for a Zelda game, but a really great game?
I love the idea a lot.
Like, if it didn't have Link in it, if you didn't think it was going to be a Zelda game, I think the game would have worked.
Yeah, I would have liked it a lot more. It sold, like, less than half of what Ocarina did. It still sold well. And I love the idea of stopping a moon from crashing into the planet. I liked how weird it was, but...
I've never finished it.
So what you're saying, Brett, is that if it had been called Jet Force Gemini, you would have been a much bigger fan.
Exactly. God, leave it to Michael Raparez, put a finer point on it.
But just like I didn't like, I always have, I don't like water temples at all in Zelda games, and because it's a Zelda game, it had to have a water temple, and I found the water temple in that just to be like a wall which I could not breach. I was just
2/3 through. I have to go out and return my rupees to the banker and then restart.
Yeah, I just got tired of that. And the same thing, like that's just the mechanic I don't like. Like I love the idea of Dead Rising. I hate Dead Rising because of that shit. Yeah. I don't like the idea of a day like forcing me to do that. I don't know why. I just do not. That does not gel with me.
I like the idea of Dead Rising, which is kind of like just play it over again. But we'll have fun. We're Dead Rising. You can do this every day.
I know. I just couldn't get into it.
But Majora's Mask was not like that. It really didn't take. It wasn't real time.
Yeah, I don't know. Something just didn't gel with me. I still bought it and played it for a while. It's like the only one I never beat. I couldn't get through it. That's it. Post your answers in the forum. I look forward to your answers.
Head into the teases. I'm going to hand this back to Tyler.
Apparently we're going into the teases. Next week, I don't think I have anything specifically going up. Michael, do you have anything going up next? You would like?
I do have like a couple of things going up next
really?
week. Yeah. Mainly, I'm going to be handling our Killzone 2 review, which I'm sure will be immediately taken out of context, and I'll be told how biased we are, and how biased I am, and how much I hate the PS3, and how I hate games that are on the PS3.
I read somewhere, I swear it was like an N4G thread, something about, they're just some site, not us, was just they were gonna bomb Killzone 2 by giving it an 8. And it's like, what world do we live in where people do not understand that an 8 is still a good game? It's a great game. An 8 out of 10 is like,
well, number
recommended. 8 to me means absolutely you need to be buying this game.
Yeah. The thing is, I think I do sort of understand the mindset of a lot of these PS3 fanboys who are trying to bully the press into giving the game maybe a better score than it deserves. But they've kind of got their back against the wall. Every single exclusive for the system is something they could potentially hold over the heads of the people who mock the PS3. Yeah. And I mean, it's not an unreasonable viewpoint. I understand it.
No, I do.
But I mean, you need to dial it down a little.
So you're doing kills.
And before you start ripping into this podcast, wait until we run the review, then rip into us if you really feel it's warranted.
Yeah. And then Chris will be burping. Chris will be burping probably into next week. Charlie, anything to tease?
I just have to say that Tyler almost just fell over the table right now.
I didn't.
With the force of that belch, oh my god.
Oh,
it pushed me.
I don't think I have anything next week, but I guess mid-February or right before Valentine's Day, I'll be doing some kind of lovey-dovey feature that will be for lovers.
I will also be working on a similar lovey thing for that, which will be kind of subverting that idea of Valentine's Day. But coming up immediately, nothing specific. I'll be taking some time off because I just finished a gigantic project that I am about to pull my own head off because of. Keep looking at me with your puppy dog shit-eating grin eyes. Alright. Chris.
Puppy dog shit-eating grin eyes.
This is me saying goodbye. Tyler Wilde is handing his mic to Chris. Chris, take us out of here.
I like to make the game articles for the game play.
Tyler Wilde getting the mic back from Chris.
Tyler Wilde, speaking of...
Brett didn't ask me to, talk about anything. So I'm going to send us out with saying that you should all read my article called Sims of Sims that's up right now. Oh, something with longevity, says Chris Antista. Well, longevity, Christopher Walken. Ow!
So, god damn it.
The podcast is over!